Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bellow Field on campus of Tufts University. It is NESCAC quarterfinal number 2 time here, and it's a big one for the third time in 4 years. It is the Polar Bears and the Jumbos on the first Saturday in November on the NESCAC quarterfinal. I'm Riley Daniel, joined by David Latham and Jake Flossie. And boys, we're going to step aside for the national anthem. Be right back. They didn't get to see our lovely pregame show, unfortunately, because of some technical difficulties, but one thing we highlighted in the pregame show, just how unusual this Bowdoin team is as an 8 seed. They're ranked 34th in the country. What does that mean in terms of what the Jumbos have to defend for today?
I think the Jumbos are facing a very strong Bowdoin team. They were 5th in the NESCAC last year, 4th and 34th in the country, in line for an automatic bid for the NCAA tournament if it were to happen today. They're a strong team. They've got a lot of very talented players like Tyler Huck, like Ronaldo Cabral, like Felipe Duran, and there's a lot of players that the Jumbos will have to worry about on this Bowdoin team.
And on the other side, David, the Jumbos seemingly figured something out about this Bowdoin team between about minutes 65 and 85, but then they seemingly lost it at the end. What do they need to do to prevent themselves from switching off again today?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the pregame. They played really well, scoring from open play, creating chaos off of crosses, just putting stuff in the box, letting it bounce around, getting those chances. In the first half, they were sort of trying to play possession ball, maintaining it in Bowdoin's third, but they weren't getting quality shots. They didn't, force Ainsworth to make a single save in that half, despite having 6 shots. I think they need to play, this doesn't sound less patiently, more chaotically in the opposing third, and really just try to get on the board quick. Don't let those 45 minutes of high pressure go wasted like they did on Tuesday, and sort of play the way they did in those 20 minutes you're talking about to get on the board.
And I think in that case, they need to look to those players like Daniel Yanez, who is starting today, like Mikey Brady, like Ethan Schultz, players who can, sorry, not Ethan Schultz, Mason Schultz, players who can cause chaos, who can cause chances to come up. And Liam Gherkin as well, on those set pieces that him and Yanez orchestrate. The Jumbos are a very, very good set piece team. Yes, they haven't scored an open play, but they've scored a lot from set pieces. And they're going to do a lot of damage and look to really exploit those set pieces in this game.
Jumbos have actually scored 18 times from set pieces, making them the best set piece team in the nation. And I mean, it is interesting. You look at these two teams who've played each other so many times, and there are 5 different players in this matchup who have scored against the other opponent already in their collegiate careers. So you just never know who's going to step up and be the hero. Interesting decision from Bowdoin coach Scott Warchinski. Ronaldo Cabral out of the starting lineup, Felipe Duran in.
Duran had an excellent year last year, putting up 10 goals, leading the team in scoring, and has been sort of a bench player this season, coming off the bench as a dangerous weapon who's got 2 goals, 3 assists this season, but scored a goal against Amherst in a pretty good goal. They ended up losing that game, but still a very strong player.
I mean, Jake, you mentioned he's had a little bit of trouble compared with last year finding the back of the net, only those 2 goals. He's taken 36 shots and put 15 on net. He seemed a little snake bit in terms of scoring, but the fact of the matter is he still creates a lot of pressure up high. He's a really talented player who could put them up early, and I think they're going for a little bit more of offensive pressure with starting him in this game.
Bowdoin was the first team all season to score twice on the Jumbos, and we're going to start off with some gamesmanship as we kick off.
Talk about Rita Duran's high pressure.
Yeah, already on the Jumbos half the field.
Max Clivio possessing, and he'll send one long looking for Ethan Jett. Jett couldn't get ahead to it, but will get a touch. Intercepted there by Carlton Steinberg. Yanez picks that one off, and the Jumbos look to possess.
Immediately a tone set for a physical game as Steinberg and Jett grabbing each other. A lot of contact.
Bargania stands one up, looking for the run. Flicked on. Schultz can't get to it. Out by Surkoff. It'll stay in play. Which way is that going? It's a Bowdoin throw.
You mentioned Surkov. He was one of the standout players for me in that Bowdoin game against Tufts earlier this week. A lot of carries from that left back, creating opportunities, creating chances for his team.
Here is Rita Duran looking to run against the Jumbos midfield. Yanez cuts that one out. Here he is again, trying to go 1v1 against Bargania. Akhtar Dandidas gets across. And now Owen Denby will look to start the counter. Under hit. Makayoni got a foot to it. Huck will send it forward for Dos Santos. And Owen Denby's going to get called for the foul, going feet into the arm of Arthur Dos Santos.
I don't think he saw Dos Santos there, but that was very high boot from Denby, so certainly the right call.
Quick restart once again for the Polar Bears. Clivio just comes right through. Dos Santos plays on the ground, and he's going to get warned immediately.
I think the foul was more, honestly, for Dos Santos reaching up and grabbing Clivio's shirt, which playing on the ground is actually not a foul in the rules of the game. It's just dangerous play, which sometimes playing on the ground can be called as. But in this case, grabbing a player's shirt certainly warrants that.
Brady trying to get on the end of that and will keep it in play, but gets called for the reach around on Luke Makayone. Alex Ainsworth getting set to take this free kick. Jumbo's bench already having some conversations about where exactly the Bowdoin bench is. 50-50 ball, sent forward, and Ontich will collect comfortably.
Another key we talked about before the game, Riley, is the Jumbos work to move it up from the back here. Bowdoin played a lot of really good bend-don't-break defense on Tuesday. The Jumbos didn't really bend much, but when Bowdoin did get a chance, they broke down. Pacelli with that putback on the save from Ontich, and then also scoring from the corner in the 88th minute. Tufts maintained a lot of possession and kept it in Bowdoin's half, but they need to avoid those just burst mental lapses on the defensive end today if they're going to be able to hold them off.
Akhtar Sandidas cut out Ishibashi's pass, and now Owen Denby will look to go in transition. Down the line to Jett. That'll be they're going to call that a Bowdoin throw.
One thing Jumbos fans will notice is a difference from some past lineups we've seen. Daniel Yanez back in the starting lineup. He had a brief hiatus from it, as we've seen Ben Penske, Akhtar Sandidas, and Liam Gherkin make up that midfield. But I think Coach Desautels wants to have the creativity that Yanez brings and those bursts of magic that he can provide. He hasn't quite had the season he had last year, but still a very talented player.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned that, he's sort of a foil to Roy Duran on the Bowdoin side in that way. Last season, all NESCAC second team, USCL region first team, 4 goals. He was a top scorer for them. This year, he's got that 1 goal, and if it's off a pen, despite having tons of opportunities, 10 shots on goal, 27 shots, he'll look to break that streak and put one in the back today.
Gherkin going to slow things down and forced to turn back to Feinberg.
Jumbos choosing to possess the ball here as some light pressure applied by the Polar Bears.
Good ball there from Denby. Now Yana's in some space. Inside of the boot, gets it right back from Brady. And switches it beautifully to Mateo Bargania.
Nice
That
little
one whipped in
Treville
hard and
pass.
low, Jet over the bar.
Bargania known for those excellent in-swinging balls. He can hit it from the outside. He can play great chances for the Jumbos. Led the team in assists last year, and a very dangerous player out at fullback. Sometimes plays right back, sometimes plays left back, and right back today.
Ainsworth's getting set for another goal kick here. Ethan Jett, who looks a lot more lively than he did at any point prior to his goal this season. That one bounces through about 3 in the midfield. Down went Bargania, and he's going to get called, I believe, for the push. Against him is Rueda Duran.
Jumbo's able to get away with that as the Polar Bears were attacking with numbers, but since the foul on Bargania, they're able to regroup, repossess, and reset play.
Clivio keeping his head up, and he's going to try and send it long, looking for Brady. Arm being pulled, and that's going to get headed out. Ishibashi will look to send it down. Feinberg over to collect. And back to Ontic, who will restart play for the Jumbos. Good ball. Flicked on beautifully from Brady. Mason Schultz could be in here. 3v2. Schultz shoots it. And across the block, that one was Macayoni. And here come the Polar Bears, or they were coming, and then Max Clivio had other ideas.
Great build-up play there from Tufts. Schultz with a really nice step over Macchione there at the final moment. Once again, Tufts developing chances, but just can't seem to get one off and make Ainsworth do work. In these last 2 games against Tufts and Amherst, really good NESCAC opponents, he's only had to make 4 saves and let 5 goals in. Despite getting tons of shots, they're just not really putting him on net. We'll see if they can make him do more
All
work
sorts
today.
of pulling, and eventually Mikey Brady gets called for the foul.
I feel like Brady may have stepped in to defend his teammates. It looked like Giannis got put in a headlock at a point there in that play, but it wasn't long enough for the ref to. It looks like it might have been incidental, not intentional contact there.
I don't know how much of anything you can really call incidental with these 2 teams.
It's certainly going to be a physical matchup down the line. One thing to notice is that Liam Gherkin is playing more of that 10 attacking midfield role for the Jumbos right now. Giannis is settling more into the 8 position, which is slightly different than we've seen Giannis play at other points as more of that attacking midfielder. But Gherkin's been so productive from this role, unsurprising that he'll remain in there.
Well, you said very little incidental against these 2 teams. Jet and Steinberg getting tied up for a second here on the sideline, and then here we have Clivio and Dos Santos. Once again, a physical matchup.
Clivio getting a little hug there.
Jet just sends that one out. Bowdoin being really quick to restart play every time so far. Pacelli calling for it's going to get it against Demby. Yanez over to double. And across in, Feinberg deals with it. Now it'll be Brady's turn against Macayone. Behind Jet, and a good idea, but poorly executed. Quickly taken. And Clivio says, nice to meet you, Felipe, and concedes the corner.
Bowdoin, though, not a place they hate to be, as they were in the 88th minute on Tuesday. And Macchione coming up into the box, you have to think he's licking his chops, thinking about a similar goal to that one.
It is worth noting, though, that Ronaldo Cabral will not be taking this corner kick as he's on the bench. He provided that assist earlier this year.
Macchione did show short, but the ball was to the top of the box. Bargania headed it away. Going to get to the second one and sends it forward. Ethan Jett going to go chase and put Surkoff under immediate pressure. And now Ainsworth's going to have to deal with it. Gets under that one. It'll come up to midfield. No further. Brady could have let it go, didn't. And after back and forth, Jack Banks will restart play for the Polar Bears. An edgy start. Schultz now. Tried to go down the line and wins the throw. Quickly taken for Gherkin. Oh, and a loose touch got away from him there as Brady could have been in. Sartani does. And now the Jumbo's going to look to switch it to the near side. Denby forced all the way back.
One thing to note that we are keeping an eye on for this Jumbo's team today is, will Xavier Campen return? The sophomore attacker has been one of the most exciting players on this Jumbo's team this season, and it looks like he's dressed today. Hopefully we can see him in action.
He is not listed on the IR in Desautel's report. Gherkin went down behind the play. Ref says play on, and now they're going to have to tend to Liam Gherkin.
Interesting about, you mentioned head coach Kyle Desautel, right now tied for the highest win percentage in Jumbo's coaching history with his predecessor, Josh Shapiro. If he wins today, he will be, at least for the moment, in the lead among Jumbo coaches.
Worth noting that Coach Shapiro won, I believe, 3 national championships while coached, so elite company for Coach Desautel.
He is. However, Desautel did do something that Josh Shapiro never did, and that is finish a NESCAC regular season unbeaten.
Looks like Ben Penske will be checking in for Gherkin when he comes off.
So it looks like a little bit of a movement in the midfield. Either Giannis or Akhtar Zandidas will go up.
I imagine both. I think Giannis will check up to that 10 role, and Akhtar Zandidas will move into that 8 role that Giannis is playing. Penske really comfortable at the fulcrum of that midfield, at that 6 role. I expect to see him maintaining that. We'll hope to see Gherkin all right, though.
Yeah, that would be a big loss for the Jumbos if Gherkin is unable to continue.
I think there's an argument to be made that he's been the Jumbo's strongest player this season, performing very well.
So it seems as if Ben Penske is no longer set to check in, and Gherkin's at the midfield line asking for permission to come back in the game, which he does.
And I mean, it has really been such a hard-fought season for Liam Gherkin. Coming into this year, in his 3 years, he had 10 points as a Jumbo. He scored 16 as a grad student this year. NESCAC All-Academic the last 2 years, you got to think he's on the board for consideration as an All-NESCAC selection
I don't
this
think
year.
it's just All-NESCAC. I think he's going to be an All-American.
There's definitely a shout for that. I can't see a world where he's not on the All-NESCAC first team, and I think there's very reasonable calls for him to be an All-American.
Denby sends that one out of play, and for a team in Bowdoin that was going really fast to restart play a minute ago, they are slowing down considerably. Clivio sends a back pass, Ontic off his line to deal with it, and gets taken out, and that might be red. That is a late challenge. Feinberg wants red, and a discussion going to be had with the referee and his linesman, and this game could turn nasty really fast.
I would argue it's been nasty for a little bit already, as we've seen a lot of contact so far, but this is certainly the worst we've seen. Looks like it's going to be yellow for Dos Santos.
It's not the first time we've seen a very similar play to that. Against Middlebury, we saw something very similar at the end of the first half. Ontic was cleated up high.
It was Sims from Middlebury who collided with Ontic, also receiving a yellow card.
And we'll see what's going to happen here. Ontic looks like he wants to stay in the game, though he is having some words, and I don't think they're friendly ones to Arthur Dos Santos.
I think Dos Santos was the one who went over trying to talk to Ontic. The referee quickly stepping in, getting Dos Santos away from the action, diffusing the situation.
And upon quick review of what happened, Dos Santos came in with a high foot, caught him in the chest, so not the face, but definitely worthy of a yellow. Desautel asking the referee why it was not a red. Mason Schultz could be in. Mason Schultz denied by Ainsworth.
What a save there from Alex Ainsworth. Mason Schultz, free on goal, one-on-one, sends it to the bottom corner, but Ainsworth is ready for it. His reflex is quick, able to push it wide.
And a golden chance for Schultz with a Bowdoin defender on both shoulders, was still able to get it off low. It had a really good chance before Ainsworth dropped to the side and knocked that one out.
Able to get off his line quickly as well to get in Schultz's face. Quick work from the Bowdoin keeper.
Giannis to take the corner. Outswinger towards the near post. Bouncing around. Shot on frame. Jumbo's wanted a handball. Don't think there was one. And eventually Denby will recycle play. Beautiful dummy there from Brady. Clivio going to keep it in. Or he can't quite run it down. He thought it was a corner. Referee agrees. Bowdoin bench incensed.
Already we're seeing a lot of shirt point. We saw Brady, as he gave that dummy, his shirt I think was fully on the other side of his body. Gherkin will take this corner.
Has Jet short. 2 Bowdoin defenders out to deal with them. Clivio basically on the goal line. In-swinger to the back post, and Akhtar Zandidas just couldn't keep himself in play. Ishibashi might have grabbed his shirt in the process.
It's tough with those sort of short shirt pulls in the box because it's not long enough for really to justify a penalty, but it's still cumbersome and difficult for the attacker. And it's really a fine line to walk with the referee of like, how long of a shirt pull do you wait until you call? But in that case, I don't think it was enough to warrant a call, but certainly towing the line of the Polar Bears.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with 2 teams like this, on a corner in the box, there's going to be tons of contact both ways. Players are going to get tied up. You really have to see a lot of contact and something obvious for a ref to want to step up and make that call.
Clivio will look to swing the ball around again. Hawk out to deal with Denby. Clivio now going to try and send it long between the lines. That's picked off by Jack Banks. Akhtar Zandidas probably got lucky he didn't make contact there. Here come the Polar Bears. Banks with a shot over onto his net.
Banks recognizing that no one was stepping to him. They were all covering the runners, so he took the space that he had, tried the shot a little bit high, but I think that was the right decision there from Alex Banks.
Yeah, and I mean, the perfect amount of power on that, really sending it to a good spot. If he had just been able to keep that a foot or 2 down, it could have made Ontage make a save.
Bargani going to try and shepherd that out for a throw, and will do enough.
Jack Banks, the sophomore midfielder from Brunswick, hometown boy for the Polar Bears.
Through ball, and once again, Gherkin in. He whips the ball across. Unfortunately for him, there was not another jumbo in the zip code.
And another note on that shot from Banks. Ontage, though he didn't have to do any work, making a full jump up past his own post. Jumbo fans will be glad to see him looking nimble still after that collision with Dos Santos.
Liam Gherkin has been limping a little bit, but still seems to be nimble as well. Another thing Jumbo's fans will be very happy to see.
Flicked on beautifully. Pacelli out to deal with it, and Clivio sends it right into the Jumbo's bench.
He almost killed some of his coaches there.
He did. Sternberg gets taken out behind the play by Brady. Akhtar Zandidas will send it wide for Bargania, and the Jumbos can look to counter. Cuts inside. Maradona. Bargania shoots! Oh, what a save! Bargania denied by Ainsworth from making SC top 10.
Bargania decides to just take it all himself. Makes a beautiful Maradona. Beats 2 different men, but his shot a little bit close to Ainsworth as Ainsworth's able to keep it out. But great work from Matteo Bargania.
Ainsworth saving Ishibashi from a highlight he will not want to watch back.
Throw it in the near post, and I believe that's going to be a Jumbo corner. It will be number 4 on the day.
The Jumbo's not afraid to use those throw-ins like corners. Mason Schultz and Matteo Bargania both able to send the ball into the box from the throw-in line and create opportunities from that, and they win a corner off of it.
Gherkin standing over this one, has Jet short. Now Jet backs off, Gherkin going to take it. To the back post, Brady up, couldn't get onto it. It hit off a Bowdoin defender, and will do it again from the right side.
Chance after chance after chance from the corner flags to the Jumbos. Can they make one count?
Jumbo's certainly come out of the gate with that high pressure, like you mentioned earlier, David, but we have seen the Polar Bears strike on the counter and create opportunities as well, so pretty expected how this game's ran so far.
Yanez over this one. Outswinger. Bargania up, couldn't get to it. And away there by Pacelli. Denby takes it down and sends it right back. Beautiful ball, but Ainsworth saw it the whole way. .50-50, chested down. Yanez tries to get around one, but could not get it to Schultz. And Duran will lay it off for Pacelli. Surkoff, who was so dangerous on Tuesday, gets his first touch. And then Dos Santos puts Steinberg under a world of pressure, and Jet comes in and blows it all up. Now Macaioni, back to Ainsworth. who gets rid of it well. Clivio up for that one. Akhtar Zandidas forward. And then Brady. Now Gherkin gets taken down by Sternberg. And that one might be a card. What it definitely is Scott Wershinsky's angry about it because he thinks that there was no contact. And Wershinsky, not exactly uncommon to making his voice heard here on Bello, did get himself carded for dissent on Tuesday night. Gianna's setting this one up.
You wonder if the injury has gotten to Gherkin, because normally I feel like he would be one of those two players at the ball, but Yana is capable of whipping a beautiful delivery.
That was not one of them.
No, it was not.
Jet against Duran. Duran lost an edge. Jurek got the ball. Hung up there. Feinberg up for it. Ainsworth goes out with the elbows and collects.
I think Feinberg might have been offside anyway, but Ainsworth able to step up nicely there.
Counter here for Bowdoin. Ishibashi. And then out to deal with it was Owen Denby, coming all the way across.
Yeah, and Denby able to win the header there, but really a beautiful ball across field from Huck. As we said, Bowdoin loves these counter chances, and they'll look to get it up the field quickly.
And Bowdoin being told that they cannot walk 15 yards up the pitch before taking a throw.
You mentioned Huck there, David. Tyler Huck has had a great season for the Polar Bears this year. 8 goals on the season, which puts him second in the NESCAC. And he's been very strong, just trailing Mario Samoas of Colby. But a hat trick in a Trinity game was a...
Ooh, that is a late challenge there from Steinberg. Coming away with it, though. Duran now. Feinberg takes it off him, and he's going to send it up. Mikey Brady will go chase Macayone. Gives him a little elbow tap, and off of Brady for, no, they're going to say a jumbo throw, and Scott Wershinsky is quickly going to lose his mind.
And in America, you know, a free country like this, we have something under the First Amendment called free speech. Coaches Desatel and Wershinsky both exercising their rights vigorously today.
Well, Wershinsky's just about to get more limited because he's now on a warning.
And
Not all those rights apply to the pitch, though.
That is true. I did not think I was going to be discussing free speech today, but with these two coaches, you never know.
And the official showing that those rights also apply to him.
Denby's throw. Second ball in the air, and it'll pop free to Denby. He'll send it back. Brady looks to be in here. Not taking any chances, though, are the Polar Bears.
Macayone using his body excellently there to stall Brady's run.
Canfin and Werner to check in at the next whistle. Akhtar Zandidas. Then Jet flicked it on. Steinberg out. Duran with a scorpion. Unfortunately, did not work. Beautiful ball from Denby to let Jet go chase. He's one-on-one on Macayone. Lays it back off. Akhtar Zandidas. Tried to cut it for Gherkin. Got cut out instead. Duran leaves it. Macayone lays that one up. And Feinberg wins the aerial battle. Schultz gets taken out by Jack Banks.
And the refs earning their pay today. Both these teams making them make a lot of calls.
Indeed. No referee is going to get an easy day when these two teams are at the pitch.
It's been a very physical one, and one battle that's been particularly interesting to watch has been Ethan Jet and Steinberg, Carlton Steinberg of the Polar Bears out on this left flank. A lot of contact between the two of them every time they face each other.
Carlton Steinberg did get himself carded in the match between these two teams a year ago on this day. A lot of contact. That's against Bargania.
That's the right call as Bargania comes in very hard there on Surkov.
And a casual 8 fouls in the first 20 minutes.
doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. These teams coming in with a lot of intensity, a lot of fiercity, and really taking each other on early in this matchup.
That one hangs. Akhtar Zandidas got up to it. Huck now will send it forward. Lovely take there from Merida Duran. Forced to turn back. Uses a screen and then shoves Dos Santos. Now Steinberg with Jet on him. Jet just takes it off him. Macchioni there for cover though. Here he is again. And the Jumbos force it all the way back to Ainsworth.
And now Tufts high press forcing a lot of less than convincing passes around the back for the Polar Bears.
Wide. Surkoff trying to 1v1 dribble Mason Schultz. That's not going to work. And Yanez picks it up. Wide for Denby. Going to open up. Looks to play Schultz. And that one cut out with a great sliding tackle there by Steinberg.
And Xavier Camfin will return to the pitch for the first time in a few matches, returning from injury. He'll come in out left side, replacing Ethan Jett. He will join that matchup against Carlton Steinberg. Ben Werner also coming in for Mason Schultz, who had the most clear-cut chance of the night so far with that one-on-one on Ainsworth, but Ainsworth making a phenomenal save to keep the score level.
Canfin doing some work. Tyler Hucks takes it off him. Around one and a second. And here comes the sensational junior. Pacelli turns back. Banks will switch the field. Surkoff with a beautiful through ball. Duran could be in. Duran lets it bounce, has a hit, just wide.
And he took about 4 strides, for which it was very obvious he was thinking about putting that one on net. We've talked about it before, we'll talk about it again. An opportunistic forward, always looking for the back.
Royder Duran, nothing short of very sensationalist with how he plays. It was the scorpion kicks we've seen earlier, the volley attempt there. If he's going to get a great play, it's going to be a highlight. It's going to be a beautiful one. You can tell that he's not afraid to take those chances that maybe other players might shy away from.
50-50 ball. Ishibashi got a foot to it. Now Steinberg sends it forward. Clivio went down. Feinberg able to cover for him, though. Bargania with a deep ball. Brady making the run. It's going to bounce over his head. Canfin could be in. Canfin slides. Got Ainsworth. Could not bet it past him. Now Gherkin to Werner.
Canfin's first touch of the game, immediate impact. Unable to put it away in a very, very tricky play, but love the hustle from the sophomore.
And Bowdoin has struggled all night playing out of the back.
The Jumbo's press, though, is yet to really take the ball away in a dangerous moment, though. I've seen Brady not necessarily shade the keeper enough, allowing them to have the drop when the press is on.
Gherkin to take this one. Outswinger. Brady couldn't get to it. It'll go all the way past, and Clivio will collect. Gets around one. Inside to Brady. Stands it up to the back post. Gherkin trying to get onto it, but great defense there by Pacelli.
Say more screening there from Pacelli, making sure Gherkin cannot get to the ball if he has to run through Pacelli with arms wrapped around him.
Surkoff tried the quick throw. Ben Werner sent it into Wingen.
And on that corner, once again, Gherkin looking for the back post. That seems to be the strategy in this Bowdoin box. And then that second play by Brady, once again, looking for the back post. It'll be interesting to see if they can convert on that, because so far, as you mentioned with Pacelli, Bowdoin has done well to seal it off.
Now Huck on it. Sends that one wide, too far for Duran. Kyle Desitel now taking his turn to use free speech. Long throw. Brady going to go fight for it. And Koleski will just concede the throw. Bargania set to take the throw after being forced to back up a couple steps. We'll send it long and short. And looks like Brady could not keep it in. Now Surkoff being told he can't advance the ball. Macchione lets that one roll over. Now the press on. Canfin forces a dangerous ball for Huck. And Yanez takes it off him but concedes the throw.
And that's the way out of the press, is to have the movement, have players really move quickly, pass quickly, which the Polar Bears are trying to do, but it has not had much success as the Jumbos have been adept at their press so far.
Banks takes it off Gherkin. Through ball cut out by Denby. And he'll send that one long. Will hang up in the wind and eventually come to the feet of Surkoff. Bargania took it from him. Jumbos have numbers. Bargania slows it down. Now plays a through ball. Werner could be in, but reading it the whole way was Kluski. Perkins going to check in at the next whistle. Yanez with a great interception. Now Werner. Back for Hernandez. Beautiful switch for Denby, who's able to keep it in. Nope, says the linesman.
Polar Bears will be afraid to see Henry Perkins in the game. 2 goals in his last 3 against the Polar Bears, including one in the quarterfinals last year, and one against the Polar Bears on Tuesday. So, likes to score against this Bowdoin team.
Indeed he does.
And as he approaches the midline here, you see here Coach does tell him, make an impact. That is what he has done this season. Just 463 minutes, but consistently something of a super sub when Tufts needs him this year. 4 goals and an assist, and not a lot of time.
A very key goal against Amherst as well. That would win the game for the Jumbos. So, someone who they can rely on to provide goals in clutch moments.
Well, we can tell you a couple things looking around the NESCAC scoreboard, one of which is we know where the women's semifinals and finals will be held, and that is Wesleyan, because they got a golden goal against Conn College in double overtime to advance. Bargania sends it long. Perkins' first intervention is to be offside.
And some other around the NESCAC updates. The Middlebury-Hamilton game ended 4-2, the same final score of the game that Middlebury faced against the Polar Bears earlier this season. Alongside that, Conn College Amherst is tied 1-1 entering the 90th minute. We'll likely see another game going to overtime. It will be our 3rd of the day, 2 on the women's side, and one the Williams Wesleyan game earlier on the men's side. That Wesleyan Conn game, So this would be the 2nd overtime for both Wesleyan and Conn.
Here is Henry Perkins. Gets stopped up. The ball will puck free. Akhtar Sandidas will reset. Jumbo's going to slow things down. Clivia will take space. Lay it off for Gherkin, who will open up. Gets the 1-2 with Bargania, but they could not keep it in play. And a quick throw attempt from Ishibashi was prevented by his teammate Adam Prince subbing in. And it'll be Felipe Rueda-Duran out and Adam Prince in. So interesting, Rueda-Duran out and still no Ronaldo Cabral.
Yeah, you mentioned Ronaldo Cabral had that assist from the corner in the last game. Leads the team in assists this season, putting him at 2nd in points. He can be a big playmaker for them in the midfield that could help put them up, and it's surprising, as you said, to not see him on the pitch yet.
Bargania will take space. Inside to Perkins. Nice turn there. Through ball, looking for the run of Werner. Cut out the last second by Macchione. And now the press. Between the lines to Huck. He'll look to start the transition. Ishibashi. Now Prince. And Feinberg just saw that the whole way. Temperature continuing to cool down here on Bello as that one stood up. Dos Santos will go chase after it. Canfin going to provide help for Owen Denby. Good work from Dos Santos. Whips it hard and low. Clivio away. Akhtar Zandidas up to Perkins. Laid off for Gherkin. He's going to turn and try and run. Banks took it off him. Then he comes back and fouls Steinberg.
Banks has had an excellent game so far at the pivot position for the Polar Bears. He's been very strong, had some carries up. He had that shot, which was one of the most dangerous attempts that we've seen for the Polar Bears, and really controlling this midfield.
Steinberg looking for someone short, but the Jumbos seemingly have figured out Bowdoin's game plan to take free kicks quickly. And now he'll send it long. Dos Santos scorpions it up. Bargana's header. Second one further forward. Surkoff with a loose touch. Werner took it off him, then got hit by Surkoff, and that's a foul.
Jumbos are preparing a triple substitution. See Penske, Flag, and Campbell coming in.
And after that challenge, Surkoff was also given a warning. He's now one of 3 players on warnings.
We're familiar with this refereeing crew. They do not like to give out yellows easily, but would not be surprised to see plenty of yellows in this game as it goes on. Very physical one up to this point.
Yeah, there's a willingness to be patient with the yellow, and then there's also the reality of these two teams. Nice turn there from Banks. Gherkin definitely still lagging after that contact earlier. Wide now for Surkoff. Stood up towards the back post. Antich will collect rather easily.
Nick Antich conceded his first several goal count against Bowdoin in that game on Tuesday. The first time Jumbos have given up 2 goals here on Bello since Amherst last year.
Bargana in a little bit of trouble. Gets around Pacelli. And then sends it back into the middle. I don't know why. Banks will open it up nicely for Tyler Huck. His loose touch taken off him by Denby. But Huck gets it back off Canfin. Between the lines, Dos Santos for Huck. And Akhtar Zandidas just gets rid of it.
Sends it to the coaching staff.
A little bit of Butterfingers there. And Bowdoin tried to restart with the wrong ball about 20 yards outfield. And the referees might not be willing to give cards, but they are more than willing to blow the whistle and make people retake throw-ins.
Happen on both sidelines now.
Steinberg into Dos Santos. Looked like it hit a hand. Referee not interested. Poor flick there from Clivio. Dos Santos into the box, shot wide. And no deflection.
Good chance there for Dos Santos, choosing to take the volley with his left, but unable to really get around it and wrap it toward goal, instead looping it out away from the goal.
And once again, the Polar Bears having an attempt from outside the box. They know that that's where their opportunities are on that counterattack, get a quick, nice shot off. They're not really looking to develop or slow down possession in the Tufts third and create something. They want one of those long ones, and they want it quick. And when you have that kind of boot, that's not exactly a bad strategy.
50-50 pops to Banks. Dos Santos rides the challenge from Feinberg, but not Akhtar Zandidas. Werner tries to release him. He'll go chase on Surkoff, who is able to knock it off him for the throw.
And you mentioned the Bowdoin tendency to take those long shots when they're facing a defense of the quality of Max Clivio, Taylor Feinberg, Akhtar Zandidas, or now Penske in front of that lineup. It's a really scary sight to see and a really terrifying line to really break through. So instead, trying to take advantage when they can, when they have more numbers advantage, when they have chances, instead of trying to break down this defense in a more comprehensive way.
The referee gave some sort of message to Paul Surkoff. What it was, I could not tell you. But Surkoff was not very happy with it. We do know, however, Will Nicholas will be checking in for Ben Werner at the next whistle.
Nicholas had that assist, a beautiful ball into Ethan Jett in that matchup last Tuesday. So someone who can create stuff on the wings.
Steinberg still waiting on this throw. Flicked on nicely there by Oliver Bruce. Pacelli could not get around Bijan, and Campbell send it forward. Perkins lays it off for Yanez. Wide for Campbell. And that'll be a Jumbo's throw, which will allow Will Nicholas to check in. On the guys' side, we can tell you it is still 1-1. Overtime has officially started in Amherst. And another Bowdoin substitution set to check in. This one, Temi Agonle. And you have to wonder what is going through Scott Wierczynski's head that Ronaldo Cabral, who was listed as eligible to play today, has not entered this game. Pacelli coming the other way. Now stops it up. Campbell tracked it back perfectly. He'll concede the throw. And Agunle will come in for Pacelli.
Pacelli yet to have a major impact on this half so far. Was the goal scorer in that last game, but because Bowdoin's been playing so much on the break, they haven't been really utilizing those players who are on the more offensive end.
Long throw. Agunle. Banks with a poor touch, and it comes right to Henry Perkins. Opens up beautifully for Flag. Got runners ahead of him. Inside to Canfin. Perkins able to win it back. He'll send it long. Looking for Nicholas, but it was cut out by Surkoff.
And a note about that substitution. Pacelli, obviously a great playmaker, very quick on his feet, but at 5'6", you know, when there's these big, high-lobbing balls, which Bowdoin has been sending a lot into this Tufts third, he's not winning those off of Feinberg and Clivio. Ogunle is 6'2". He has a better chance to maybe get under one of those headers, send something out, and, you know, create from up high.
Huck took a dive. Referee not interested as Agunle tilts the other way. Still going, and that might be a foul. Referee not going to call it, and the Jumbos are look to go. Yanez against Steinberg. Scott Wierczynski still having conversations with the refereeing crew. This might be the first one where he has a very valid case.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like a foul from my eyes there from Clivio. Late, strong tackle into his man.
That one is going to get called against Bruce, who grabbed Clivio. Clivio then gave him a little friendly shove for good measure after the fact.
Some possible retaliation there, as Clivio was the one who committed the tackle that incensed the Bowdoin bench like that.
That one bounces. Chested down nicely there by Banks. Prince around Penske, who gets called for the foul. And a really good decision there from the referee. Right call to make the foul, but Jake, good call there not to give the card because there was no real attempt to stop the play.
There is a question of a tactical foul in situations like that, but in my eye there, that wasn't Penske trying to slow down the play, trying to cut off a counterattack because his team was coming back, like you mentioned.
Paul Koleski letting the clock continue to tick here before standing one up. And eventually, Penske takes it down cleanly, but then gives it right back to Tyler Huck, who plays Scorpion with Agunle.
There's been Scorpion Central here for Bowdoin. I think 4 players now have tried to get one around a defender using that move.
Huck, the first one to really pull off effectively, the very skilled junior midfielder.
And the double one at that.
Surkoff cuts inside, picks his head up. Through ball cut out by Clivio. Lovely touch by Jack Banks. Now it goes wide, looking for Ishibashi. He's able to keep it in. Against Campbell now. To his right, drops him, whipped across, away by Feinberg at the near post. Yanez goes up for it but can't win it. And it looks like Ishibashi's offside. He is.
The Polar Bears are really fluid in their positions. We've seen Banks is really the only one of those three midfielders, Ishibashi and Hemp, who stays in the middle. We've seen them all move over. Hemp is played out wide. Ishibashi's played out wide. Believe that is, yes, that is Prince, who's also been playing in sort of a 10 role, but they've been rotating around a lot, creating a lot of chances, and it makes it a lot harder to guard when the players move as fluidly as they do.
Lovely touch from Canfin, but the ball looking for a flag on the backside was just overhit. Banks on it yet again, looking to distribute. Agunloy wide. Surkov has to wait on it as it's behind him again. Little stop and go, and that's a shove. This time gets correctly called. And a sarcastic applause from the Bowdoin bench.
And Agunloy, you see, got up quickly there, maintained control of the possession, and with his hands up, you can tell he's thinking, this is the one that gets called? I had it anyway.
An update for those at home is still 1-1 in overtime between Connecticut College and Amherst. If Connecticut College were to win that game, the Jumbos would face the Camels if they were to win this game.
Whipped in on Freeman in! That is a Bowdoin goal belonging to Adam Prince.
And the Jumbos unable to defend the set piece. A great ball in from the Polar Bears, finding Prince, free header, able to put it away. And the Jumbos need to pick their heads up and get back into this game if they want to have a chance to continue in this playoff round.
And we talked about not putting Cabral in at that sub. They put in Prince, and you can't complain with the results. Maybe making us eat our words. It's a brilliant header from him to sneak it past Antich. And Bowdoin, as they were late in the game before Tufts got back or early before Tufts was able to get any on Tuesday, is in the lead. It's 1-0 now. It was 1-0 then. Plenty of soccer to be played.
The Polar Bears not strangers to scoring on set pieces here on Bello Field. Last year in the quarterfinals, Felipe Arroyo Duran hit an excellent free kick to get the Polar Bears within one, but it ended up being consolation at the end. Well, this one seems to have a lot more significance, though.
Bowdoin bench fired up as we dip under 2 to go in the first half.
And I believe, couldn't quite hear him, but it appeared Banks said, we need to dial this in. The energy's still very high on the Bowdoin side. They win a throw in, and the bench ecstatic. He's saying, let's calm this down and keep pressing for another perhaps.
And that's really impressive. That's a sophomore telling his upperclassmen teammates, you guys need to stay composed within yourselves. Real good sign of leadership from the sophomore. Here's Canfin for Penske. He's going to switch it wide to Campbell, who's able to keep that in play. And that'll be, I believe, a throw for Bowdoin deep in their own half.
The last time the Jumbos had home field advantage in a game here on Bello was the men's lacrosse team. The last time the Jumbos had home advantage as the 1 seed was the men's lacrosse team, who had Hamilton here on Bello and fell to the 8 seed in the first round. They went on to win the national championship, but would not be the first time in 2024 the Jumbos have fell to the 8 seed on Bello.
Kept in nicely by Canfin. Flag tries the 1-2. Canfin going to stand one up, looking for runners. Down in the box, in some pain is Henry Perkins, who wants to call Canfin now. Onto his right. Back across, slide intervention there from Steinberg. Agunloy just sends it up. Penske's going to let it go with 15 to go. Yanez going to try and get one last chance. Whipped in hard, looking for Perkins down the middle. Cut out there by the head of Paul Kluski. That'll take us to the halftime break, and in a shock turn of events, the Polar Bears go to the break up 1-0.
And this team on the sideline, as we said, ecstatic with that goal. The energy is high here, but on both ends, Tufts, you could tell the strategy in those last 15 seconds wasn't, let's slow this down, work this one out, and talk about how we can get that goal back in the second half. Pressing until the very end of the break, and we should have 45 more minutes of very exciting back-and-forth soccer.
One thing I do worry about for the Jumbos, though, is the last time they conceded a goal to Bowdoin, a few days ago, they reacted back quickly. They were able to get a goal back. Now they have to wait. We saw after that goal, heads dropped. They were upset. They were frustrated. They wanted to get it back. But with this halftime pause, will they lose that momentum, that anger they had that they want to bring to the field, or will they be able to develop it and refine it with Coach SSL? We'll see.
We'll find out in 15 minutes. Stay tuned.
Hypnotic. 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 Hypnotic magical. I don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic magical. You're so hypnotic magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. You're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. so hypnotic, magical. So hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back here to Bello Field. We're ready to go for the second half. And I mean, it's not a surprise in this Bowdoin team's able to do things like this, come into Bello and get the lead not once but twice in the same week. They may be the 8th seed, but they're still a top 35 team in this country, as is every other team in the entirety of the NESCAC tournament, which is something that's just borderline unheard of at this level.
The fact that we could see all 8 NESCAC playoff teams in the NCAA final tournament would be very exciting, very interesting to see. Shows really how strong the NESCAC is in soccer.
Well, if the Jumbos want to keep things within their own hands and maintain control of their goal of an NESCAC NCAA double, they're going to have to get one in this second half.
And if we want to talk about, one, how strong the NESCAC is, but two, how anything can happen in this tournament, how crazy this is. In terms of a bit of history, we can look back to Bowdoin's 2022 season behind Dylan Reed, graduate of that year, who was the NESCAC Player of the Year. They came into the playoffs ranked number 1, lost in the first round in a penalty kick stunner to Conn College, and yet then went on to the Elite 8 in the NCAA tournament against Mary Washington. So while one of these teams will leave today with their NESCAC hopes thwarted, they both have a lot of soccer ahead of them either way.
Retta Duran goes down. Jet comes away with the ball.
Took down Feinberg on the play, and he will be called back for that one.
Get it back. Come on, Taylor, let's go. You're good. Play. Bijan, go a little higher right now.
Feinberg getting set for this free kick here. Shock result out of Williamstown if it did hold, because that's final now. Colby shocks the Eves. So Colby will play the... Oh, that is a dangerous challenge. Canfin got hit in the head. And I believe, I can't quite tell, but it looks like there might be a card in his hands.
I think he just got a yellow whistle, but that was an elbow from, that was...
I believe Dos Santos.
I thought it was Banks.
It was Banks.
It was Banks, okay.
And this looks like a startlingly similar position to how the Polar Bears scored earlier today.
It is, though it looks like the same sort of spot where Danny Yanez wants to hit from. Desatel arguing with some merit that if it's a foul, it should be a card, given it was an elbow to the face.
Certainly would have been my thought as well, but...
Stood up there. Headed back across, and that is in the back of the net for the Jumbos. A Jumbo goal off the free kick, and we're even.
Not sure who that was. Might have been Mikey Brady who got it. A lot of ball bouncing around all over the net. It looks like a goal. Yep. But Gibson Campbell being told to get off the pitch for running on as the Jumbo is very excited.
And if you think you're seeing double from just around 20 minutes ago, it's because you are. That play looked shockingly like the Polar Bears goal in the first half. As you mentioned, Jake, Yanez does nicely to lob it up into the box. It bounces around. Chaos is created, and what comes out of it? An evener in just the 3rd minute of the second half.
And the Jumbos remain a very strong set-piece team. Is that their 19th set-piece goal this season, extending their lead at the top of the NCAA standings in set-piece goals, and really showing that they are very capable of executing a strong set-piece, especially with someone as talented as Yanez who can put those balls into dangerous places where chaos can ensue in the box.
Well, our statistician and all-around expert, Micah Baum, had told us at the break the Jumbos had not trailed for more than 8 minutes consecutively on the season. That streak not broken. They trailed for all of 5 before evening it up here.
And he is currently watching the footage back, so he can hopefully tell us who was the one who actually put that goal in the net.
Here come the Jumbos. Can they get 2 and 2? Canfin could be in. Hard and low, and a Jumbo corner. Gherkin getting set to take this corner here. Jet gonna come short.
Jumbo's responding instantly. Can they get another one here? Set piece.
Towards the back post. Bargania tried to get to it. Looks like he's gonna be able to keep that in play. Some fancy footwork from Bargania. Gets to the byline, hard and low across. 2 men go down. And it's going to be a foul against Feinberg.
Not much complaints there from Feinberg. Like he stamped on the foot of Steinberg, very similarly named players, and resulting in a free kick.
And I don't know what Kyle Desitel's halftime message was, but this is a different looking Jumbos team than the one we saw at the end of the first. They are a lot more hungry and just willing to go chase every 50-50 ball.
Yeah, and I mean, on the other side for Bowdoin, you could see the energy coming out of that first half, and they came into the second half looking, as they stepped up to play, confident in their first half performance, and pleased, it seemed, maybe to try and play with the lead and hold on to this one. Now you've got to come at it with a completely new strategy, and when it's even again.
And we do have a confirmation on who scored that goal. It was Mikey Brady's goal. Brady, who had his first career goal in this matchup in the quarterfinal 3 years ago, gets one to even it up. Surkoff now. Wide for Ishibashi. Against Bargania. Surkoff trying to spin. Grabs Yanez in a headlock and concedes the goal kick. And I think Surkoff's going to get a warning for doing that. Referee going to stop the clock to go fix the corner flag, which somehow had moved about 20 yards.
Always interesting when the corner flag just has to go up and take a walk.
Yeah, and with that one, Mikey Brady getting his second goal of the season. He had that one against Trinity, and he told us after that game that it went off a lot of pressure for him to just get on the scorecard. Perhaps the same today. I mean, he always brings that great physicality up top to this Tufts team. But to get on the scorecard can even a lot of those nerves and perhaps open up for a second opportunity later in this game.
And one thing that I think Brady brings is just this relentlessness.
Oh, that is a late challenge on Akhtar Zandidas. That is a very late challenge. Bowdoin is screaming. I'm not quite sure why, because in all likelihood, they should be very lucky that they're not getting carded for that.
Rueda Duran not happy after that play.
And the referee, the look he's giving Rueda Duran is just priceless, because we could hear the contact through our headsets from here, which I think tells you all you need to know about that sort of contact. Jet now. Lovely half turn. Still going back onto his left foot. Plays it through, just couldn't get to Gherkin. And now here come the Polar Bears. We're going to end on Bello. Clivio, well taken there. Denby's ball under hit. Canfin able to collect the second one. Now Gherkin. Cuts it back. Akhtar Zandidas wanted it. Now Bargania calling for it. Instead, a beautiful ball from Clivio looking for Ethan Jett. He's going to try and keep it in the corner, and will do. And that'll be a jumbo throw.
For those following the Connecticut College Amherst game, it is in penalty kicks now, as Conn College has taken their first penalty and scored. We will keep you updated with the result of that game once it finishes.
Bargania to take the throw. Jumbo's going to send up the tall boys. Treat this as a set piece. Throw into the near post. Bouncing around. Dos Santos ahead to Duran. Yanez tried to get in front of him, could not. Jet back defensively, 3v3. Duran has Pacelli middle. Akhtar Zandidas just took it off him. And then Feinberg gets run over. And Scott Warchinski upset with his star.
Roy Duran really excellently closed down there by Bijan Akhtar Zandidas, getting in front of him, getting his body in the way, slowing him down. That's the number one rule. In a breakaway, you slow the attacker down. You let your teammates get back to help you. That's exactly what Akhtar Zandidas did. He got in the way, slowed it down enough, ended up causing a mishit ball from Duran, and then Feinberg's able to get there to clean it up. Excellent work from the sophomore.
Giveaway there from Bargania. Tyler Huck, around one. Now around Gherkin. Wide to Shibashi. He's going to have a hit. Headed. And a good job from Ontich. Reading that as Desitel not happy with the miscommunication there. Feinberg went down to head it on a ball that was coming to Ontich.
Very curious about Feinberg's decision there to splay out and head the ball. It ended up working in the end, but definitely can throw off the keeper in deflections like that. So Ontich luckily quick enough reactions to react to that ball, but very unorthodox defending, to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to put your confidence in something, putting it in Nikoyanch's vertical leap is not a bad thing to choose. That being said, something of a questionable decision to go down for it, as you said, nonetheless.
It's also just unpredictable, like where the ball will go after it hits your head.
Great job from Brady to win that ball coming back. Now Bargania for Jet. Tries to pace Ishibashi and will get around him and then get pulled back. That's a free kick. And Bowdoin going to make the referee pace out 10.
Once again, Bargania and Kleski.
And referee going to ask for play to be stopped. And going to give some more messages about time wasting. Scott Warchinski making a good point that Daniel Yanez is about 2 yards to the left of where this foul occurred. And they will make him move the ball.
Another free kick here for the Jumbos, and a very dangerous one, as we've seen them be so lethal from free kicks, particularly Yanez's balls in.
Last time Yanez hit a free kick, the Jumbos were able to even it up. Towards the back post, might be on net. Ainsworth up and collects it cleanly.
Very calm there from Alex Ainsworth. He had Canfin running at him. He's had the ball going toward that top corner, but he just calm and collected. Picks up the ball.
Bowdoin all sorts of caught out. Yanez banks with a great step there. Akhtar Zandidas forces it back. Brady going to bring on the pressure. And eventually the Polar Bears will start it out from the back with Alex Ainsworth. Akhtar Zandidas up. Couldn't get it cleanly. Gherkin for the second one. Third ball. Yanez got a foot to it. And eventually Macayoni will send it forward to Tyler Huck. Now Surkoff flying forward. 2v1 against Bargania. Wide for Duran. Barkanya takes it off him like taking candy from a baby. Now around Surkov, and a late challenge. Ref says play on. Jumbo's bench not happy with that at all.
Seemed like Surkov very clearly got the leg of Barkanya there, but
Jet took it off Ishibashi and sent it long, as this game is turning physical and turning nasty fast. Ethan Jet now down in some pain, and Bowdoin's going to do the right thing and play it out of play.
And I mean, turning physical, perhaps more aptly put as turning more physical. From the opening whistle, these two teams have been going at it in the midfield, playing the body a lot. A lot of guys hitting the turf.
Yeah, Polar Bears up into double digits now in terms of fouls at 10. Jumbo's with 6 themselves.
Mason Schultz preparing to check in for the injured Ethan Jet. He started the first half. Xavier Campin stayed in to play the second half, but Schultz did have that very dangerous chance early on in the first half, getting between two guys and getting a good shot on goal, but Ainsworth was ready for it.
Barkanya still arguing that there should have been a foul there. And, well, let's just say free speech is being shared aplenty around Bello.
Barkanya never wanted to shy away from some free speech.
No.
Yep.
One of the most booked players on this Jumbo side.
Barkanya has 3. That's second on the team. Only to Ethan Jet, who has 4 after his card in the first half of the game Tuesday.
Both these teams being brave with their challenges and free with their words. In line, as we said, with exercising their rights, it has been physical and also loud here on Bello from the jump.
It has been good to see, though, that both teams behaved sportsmanly when Jet went down, ball played out of bounds, ball played back to the keeper. So while they have been free and exercising their speech and strong tackles, at least there's still sportsmanship in the game.
Brady worked wide to Owen Denby. Onto his right foot, wants a hit, has a hit, and Ainsworth able to stop it.
And he doesn't have to move around much for that one, but that has power on it. Give the credit to Alex Ainsworth for staying in between that one. He's had a lot of work to do today.
Down goes Canfin. Steinberg still with the ball.
I mentioned with Ainsworth only having to make 4 saves in his last 2 games and allowing 5 goals. He's made those 4 already today, and only one's gotten past him.
That one's sent back from Huck right into the feet of Daniel Yanez. Danby going to send it long. Brady against Macchione. Laid off for Canfin, who will take it and space. A little bit too much on that touch. Kluski.
A really timely intervention there for Kluski. The Jumbos had runners.
That time it was Feinberg with the intervention. And Denby and then Bijan Akhtar Zandidas just put Duran in a headlock. And this time it got called.
And you mentioned those saves from Ainsworth, and it's really hard to judge a goalkeeper based off of their stats because really you don't know what each shot looked like, what each chance looked like. So Ainsworth, while his save percentage has dropped drastically this year from last year, it's hard to know whether that's a defensive issue or a keeping issue.
Quickly taken from Hawk. They were trying to do the same thing that led to Pacelli's goal on Tuesday, but this time Ontic was alert to it.
Just to finish that off, though, Ainsworth has looked quite solid today, making some very impressive saves. Been keeping the Polar Bears in some chances where you feel like he was second favorite, yet still able to get a good save.
Perhaps not absolute highlight reel saves, but as you said, Jake, I think the stats do speak to the reality on this Bowdoin end today. Ainsworth has stopped a good number of solid chances, I believe.
Canfin takes it cleanly in towards Brady, who gets pulled back. And eventually, the Jumbo's going to keep that in play. Can Gherkin keep it in? Yes, he can. Oh, no, they're going to say that went out of play.
Henry Perkins will now check in, I believe, for Mikey Brady. Yeah, Brady, the goal scorer of earlier, will be replaced by the goal scorer from Tuesday.
Brady coming off to some applause from his teammates.
Well deserved. He always puts his all out there. He always fights hard. Really great at putting pressure on and making it challenging for this Bowdoin team.
That one with some knuckle on it for Mainsworth. And it's going to end up at the feet of Tyler Huck. Wide now for Dos Santos. Has Duran. Instead going to have a hit, but couldn't get it past Feinberg, who sends it forward to Henry Perkins. Banks takes it off him. Now Pacelli. Sliding back and getting the ball was Canfin. And now he's going to look long for Mason Schultz, but completely under hit. And it looks as if Surkov's just going to slow things down.
Let's go back there to that Banks play on Henry Perkins, trying to hold the ball up, trying to start a counterattack with Banks. Excellent intervention. He's been very strong tonight, getting the assist on the goal earlier and just really dominating the midfield for the Polar Bears.
Coming back that other way, I mean, the ball up didn't match the quality of the tackle, but that takeaway from Xavier Canfin was something to look at. He'll want to look back at that highlight later. Does brilliantly to get up there and take it.
And a good job here by Schultz to force Huck back to the middle as Dos Santos now trying to get a shot. Lays it off, and Schultz doing the dirty work, tracks back. Banks for Kluski. Perkins does the work to force him all the way back to Macchione. Warchinski screaming at someone on his bench. I'm not sure who. Little 1-2 play with Dos Santos and Sternberg. And then Max Clivio sends it all the way into the Bowdoin half. Perkins going to go chase, but a nice header from Kluski will let Ainsworth restart play. Penske will check in as well at the next whistle. Macchione. Steinberg between the lines to Pacelli. Taken away. Gherkin gets taken down. That's a foul.
And Gherkin taking a number of hits now today, but he gets up again.
Yeah, you wonder at what point the amount of blows he's taken, how that will affect his ability to really be the explosive player we know him to be.
Yeah, you do wonder. I know Ben Penske is coming in for him. We'll see if that's just a respite or if that's a more long-term change. Feinberg. Playing it back and forth with Clivio. Adam Prince going to check in for Bowdoin at the next whistle. Through ball. Banks able to corral it. Canfin going to do the work to press Steinberg as that one up the channel. Clivio sees it the whole way. Waits for Pacelli to jump and plays it back to Antich. Giveaway there from Antich. Ishibashi to Duran, and a great chest work there from Taylor Feinberg. Now Bargania stands it up looking for the run of Schultz. Banks tried to take it down cleanly. Perkins now bringing on the press. Dangerous ball. Schultz with a clean touch. Now Gherkin. In behind Kluski, who lowers the shoulder to take the ball off him. And we keep going end to end. Duran tried to turn. Feinberg forced him back. Hawk to Banks. Wide now to Steinberg. And that'll be a throw-in, which will allow the substitutions to come in on both sides.
Will Nicholas didn't get too much action in that first half, but really a creative and dangerous player who can cause issues. And really the only Jumbo's first year who's had a significant amount of play time since Ellis Denby's injury.
But your thoughts, boys, on Xavier Canfin first shift back?
I think he's been very strong. He's been putting that pressure on. He's been really creating issues for the Bowdoin defense, being a thorn in their side. Created several situations where it's really scary moments for the Polar Bears.
Yeah, and in the first half, you know, he had a couple nice moves that created chances that Bowdoin snuffed out at the last second with some really nice slides. For his part on the defensive end, he's been playing the pressure well, controlling
Into
those
the
air
box
balls.
now. Pacelli goes down. Nothing in that. Almost went in the back of the net. And eventually, play will restart. Montage going to take his time. And eventually, got to imagine the referee will tell him to get on with play. So he puts it back on the turf and then sends it long. That's going to pop out, I believe, for a jumbo throw, despite Tyler Hawk trying to take one quickly.
Upset alert as Connecticut College has defeated the Amherst Mammoths on penalties. That would mean that if the Jumbos were to win today, they would face the Camels of Connecticut College here in Medford next week. If the Polar Bears were to win, they would face Middlebury out in Middlebury, Vermont next week.
Yanez takes it cleanly off Prince. Akhtar Zandidas for Denby, who's looked real good here today. Bargania in acres of space, gonna get it now. Plays that one, not quite sure where.
To
No,
Kluski, it appeared to me.
Yeah, it looked like it was a direct ball to Kluski, who took it and said thank you very much. Huck gets around Akhtar Zandidas for the throw. And immediately takes it before the referee can move him back.
A common theme throughout the game on the sideline.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a throw taken by either team that's been where it went out. Maybe that one just a second ago was the first. Perkins switches a dangerous ball, and that's a giveaway to Dos Santos.
Come on, Mateo.
Trying to get a shot off. Forced to his left. Feinberg was there, and Clivio does the rest.
Little scary moment there is Pacelli, who was able to poach a nice goal against the Jumbos earlier. Tries there, but ball ends up going out of play.
Guys, get up.
Desatel telling his team to get up offense or defensively. Push the line forward. Akhtar Zandidas asking for a substitution as he came up lame after a challenge. Down goes Pacelli. Nicholas going to try and help Clivio, who's getting absolutely manhandled by Pacelli, but takes the ball anyway.
There is
Perkins.
a significant height difference between Pacelli and Clivio. Clivio's at 6'3", Pacelli at 5'6". So rather challenging for Pacelli to manhandle him, but he still managed to pull it off there.
Jumbo's dropping off significantly here. Surkov. Now Kluski will take space. Dumped it off. Huck wicks it wide. Steinberg. High ball. No one anywhere near there. And Bargani will let it go all the way out for a throw.
Hey, find him now, White. Find him, White.
Mikey Brady trying to cheer on his teammates from the bench as the energy level has definitely dipped in the last 5 or so minutes. Oh, a dangerous challenge. 2 guys went in, 2 heads went down, and the ref says play on as the quick throw taken by Schultz. A pick and a half set by Paul Kluski, and eventually the ball will pop free.
Schultz doing well to send that header quickly. Yanez had a little room downfield, but the Bowdoin defense says that's our specialty move, the quick throw in. They were there immediately. Kluski and Surkov convening on Yanez. They do well to keep it away.
Luke Randolph going to check in momentarily for his first action of the day. Bargania takes a break from getting his water to get back to the ball. Don't know what Yanez was doing, but in the end, it's going to come to Schultz, who gets taken out by Jack Banks. And another really poorly timed challenge from a Bowdoin midfielder.
Bargania, unfortunately, hit by a water bottle, grabbing his knee, but looks like he'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't really know what Bargania's doing, asking for water in the middle of live play.
I think he's thirsty. I don't know what else. I don't know what else he would be doing if he didn't want water. But
Planning to drink it, probably.
I mean, yeah, I get that part.
No.
Yanez loves this spot. It's exactly where he took the one that led to the first Jumbo's goal. Henry Perkins going to line up offside intentionally. See if he can serve as a decoy. Now gets back on. In swinger, did not get through anybody. Akhtar Zandidas back into the wall. Stood back up looking for a runner. Perkins could be in. Gets a punch. Ball is still around, and Perkins was so sure he had committed a foul, he gave up on it.
A little surprised there wasn't a foul given, to be honest, as Perkins did cloud the keeper, and referees tend to protect the keeper, but gotta play to the whistle.
Now Banks through ball, and Feinberg rises up to deal with it. Works wide to Surkoff. Bargania cuts that one out, and now the substitutions will come galore. Brady for Perkins. Both wingbacks coming out.
I wonder if that's a frustration sub there from Desatel.
Luke Randolph in for Akhtar Zandidas, and Pacelli will come out with Agunloy coming in for him. 20 minutes to play in the last NESCAC quarterfinal. That one down the line, Brady will corral. And able to win the throw despite being 1v2. And of all the things I've heard today, that's a pretty funny one from Paul Kluski, telling the referee to respect where the throw-in should be taken from.
Certainly something that has not been consistent, at least, from the throw-in takers, really, of either
Well,
side.
there's been consistency. They've
Yeah.
consistently took 10 yards.
Yeah, and in fairness to them, to Glusky, while it is a bit questionable to say start respecting it now, that one was as well taken by the Jumbos about 10 yards up from where it went out.
And they also had two throw-in takers, as both Schultz and Campbell were ready to take
That
a
one
throw.
is a bigger problem, I'll give you. Generally can't throw in two balls at the same time.
Would certainly add an interesting second dimension to the game.
Agunloy down the line against Campbell. Both fresh off the bench. Ishibashi whips one back in. Clivio away. Brady does some work to force it further out to Steinberg. Now Nicholas with a step into Dos Santos. In the box, Dos Santos with some great footwork, then gives it away. Schultz with a nice ball. Randolph in some trouble. He'll just dump it off, putting Gibson Campbell under pressure, and the super senior sends it long. Schultz gets it from Randolph and wins the throw. I don't know what is going on here. Jack Banks tried to grab the ball out of the legs of Mason Schultz, and eventually the Jumbos keep play going. Here is Schultz. Late challenge from Kluski. It'll be a jumbo throw.
And something I haven't seen much here on Bello, it was for a moment there, Banks and Schultz wrestling for the ball here on the sideline.
I mean, I've definitely seen it on a soccer field, just generally not above the U10 level.
Mason Schultz ready to take the long throw here as another set-piece opportunity for the Jumbos to exploit.
To the near post. 2 went up to deny Brady. Agunloy will turn and go, but not get anywhere because Schultz was there. That one back in from Randolph, given right away. Huck taken down from James Flagg, and that will be the first card of the game.
A second card,
Well,
actually, after
yeah.
the tackle from DeSantos into Ontich earlier.
My apologies.
Yes.
But
First
first in a
Jumbo's
very
card.
long time, yes.
Of the day.
And I think that's just a pure tactical foul from Flagg. Tackles him from behind. Straight yellow. Very easy call for the referee.
Yeah, and Tyler Huck with the ball on the move with runners, certainly a scary enough sight to induce that sort of strategic play. Not a bad decision at all from him.
That it is.
Good header there from Ishibashi. Agunloy has a hit. Ontich able to get in front of it.
Agunloy doing a good job to take some space and take a shot. Polar Bears haven't necessarily been shooting that often, but good choice there from Agunloy. Just not quite enough to beat Ontich.
Schultz taken down by Ishibashi, and another Jumbo's free kick. Ishibashi telling the referee he didn't touch him. David, I mean, it kind of looked like he touched him.
Well, you could make the argument of whether the contact was strong enough for a foul to say I didn't touch him. I think if you were to rewatch the play,
Yeah.
he would perhaps.
No, I think he has a legitimate argument that it might not have been strong enough to be a foul.
Yes.
The I didn't touch him does not work. We're standing
Yeah.
6 feet away.
I think we have to stray into philosophical of can you actually interact with another person?
Yeah.
Which I
There's
would
a
argue
reason I
yes.
dropped metaphysics, Jake. Shot from Brady, and that is sent out of play.
Bargania will check back in after a short break off the pitch. Gibson Campbell will come off. A little surprised, honestly, we don't see Flag coming off after recently receiving yellow, but Campbell the one to come off.
Long throw into the box, bouncing around. Who's going to find it? The answer is the Polar Bears.
There's 4 black shirts in the realm of 1 white player, so I think that's going to end up for the Bowdoin Polar Bears.
And a great play by Dos Santos not to concede the throw, but instead send it long, force Antic to restart play. Nicholas up for it. Second ball deflected as far as Dos Santos. Now Agunle with a nice turn. Has runners ahead of him. Could not do anything with it. Pops back up. Ball still on the turf. Agunle again with it. Plays it through. This time it's a foul. And Feinberg incredulous.
And what have we seen from right around this position on both ends so far today?
Don't remind me.
Will this
I had
break
wood
the
back here,
pattern?
I'd knock on it.
I mean, it is interesting because this is not only right about where those 2 goals have occurred from, it's about 5 yards back on the exact same side and horizontal location where Felipe Herrera Duran scored from a year ago.
Not on the pitch right now is Duran, so he cannot have a shot like that. But Tyler Huck, a perfectly capable free kick taker. It's not going to be Banks who had the assist to the earlier goal, but it will be. Correction, it was Huck. It was listed as Banks in the stats, but our wonderful statistician, Micah Baum, has the actual correction here.
Can he do it again? 4-man wall. Through the wall, blocked away. And the Jumbos seem more than happy to concede the corner.
Bargania ready for it and able to send the ball out for the corner. But corner, not much safer as the Polar Bears scored off of a corner kick the last time they were here in the dying embers of that game. That was a tie. Could this be to win it?
Kato Ishibashi to take. And this time, they put Mikey Brady right on that near post. To the back post it goes. Antic collects.
Antic commanding from the back, calling his players out and getting up for that one. That sort of leadership in the goalie position is a large piece of the impact he has on this team.
Yanez, nice header. Brady, right back to him. And he'll swing it wide to Schultz. 1v1 on Surkoff. Help comes. Schultz more than happy to get the throw. And some line change substitutions for the Bows for the final 12 minutes.
And the Jumbos will move back into essentially their starting lineup, only shift from that being Mason Schultz on instead of, or sorry, their second half starting lineup, which has Mason Schultz instead of Ethan Jett and James Flagg instead of Owen Denby. But Bargania, capable of sending throws quite deep in the box, will step back here.
Towards the near post. Bouncing around. Still bouncing. And what's the call? It's a goal kick.
Xavier Campin seemed to be the one running on there, trying to pounce on the chaos, but just couldn't quite get the ball out from under his feet. It's really tricky to get really any substantive attempt when the ball is just bouncing around in a sea of bodies.
Instructions from Scott Wyszynski about how to defend set pieces to his midfielders as Ainsworth sends that one forward. Akhtar Zandidas got a touch to it. Surkoff sends it forward. Feinberg with a good header, right to Gherkin, who got away with a hand. Agunloy took it off him, Gherkin took it back, and Bargania finally comes away with it. Holds hands with Ishibashi before sending Schultz forward. Dangerous ball dealt with by Kluski. Now Ainsworth, off his line, gave it away. Yanez. And a good job getting back defensively from the Polar Bears.
Yeah, Yanez looked like he almost wanted to have a go, as you said, with Anthems off his line. Give the credit to Jack Banks for being there, making him uncomfortable, not able to pull it over to his right foot and get a look.
Jumbo starting to amp up the pace a little bit here. Polar Bears all the way back in their own half as Bargania takes it and picks his head up. Cuts inside around 1, left the foot out, trying to draw a call. Didn't get anything. Yanez around 2. Back to Tarzanidas.
Yanez annoyed that Bargania was still on the ground, looking for him for the pass, but Bargania is limping as he got up.
Here he is on the ball. Still feeling the effects of that challenge. Lovely turn from Canfin to win the throw. Clock will stop at 11:14. 2 subs in. Pacelli for the Polar Bears, Denby for the Jumbos.
In these last 15 minutes, the clock will stop with every substitution. Another long throw opportunity for the Jumbos. We saw a dangerous situation the last time that happened. Mason Schultz will take it from the left side.
See if they can do anything that puts it in the back of the net this time. Does not get past the first man. Not a good throw. Dos Santos around Yanez and Canfin. Has Pacelli. Can he spring him? Instead goes the other way. Prince now sends it long. Pacelli might be able to get to it. No, he will not.
It's Macchione actually making the run up from center back, trying to send Pacelli there.
And you saw on that throw in, Schultz's arms probably starting to get a little bit tired here late in the game. It's been a good shift for him. That one wasn't what he was looking for.
And I think that might be it for him. Ethan Jett set to check in momentarily. Long throw, high in the air. Not seen well by Surkoff. Schultz sends it forward for Brady. That'll be a Jumbo's throw, and that'll be the last play for Mason Schultz, at least for regulation.
It's good to see Ethan Jett coming back in. He did come off with an injury late in the first half, so good to see him back on the field.
Mateo Bargania's arms, it seems, not quite as tired. That first throw really had some gas under it. This one may as well. Or he'll drop it short.
Throw into the feet of Gherkin. Now Jett fighting forward along the far end line, and it's going to be a goal kick. There are 10 minutes to play, and if we don't have a goal, we will play some more free soccer on Bello.
In the current rules, it will be golden goal in extra time. But we have seen, somewhat unsurprisingly from Cog College, that their game went to penalty kicks as they've had 5 draws throughout the season and able to convert in penalties. Not beyond the realm of possibility that we see extra time and or penalties here on Bello, but both teams will be wanting to not allow that to happen and get a goal in these last 10 minutes.
Bargania. Shoulders off Prince, now cuts inside. Through ball, beautiful ball for Jett. And a great step there from Kluski. That one sent all the way forward. Feinberg will collect with all sorts of space. Akhtar Zandidas tried to do too much. Surkoff's throw into Ishibashi, who sends it long. Not quite sure who he was sending it to because no one was making a run whatsoever. And a deep throw in the Jumbo's half means it's Bargania's turn to send one long just to get it out of their own end. That one up. Gherkin got ahead to it, but couldn't get it cleanly. Banks forward. Flicked on. Pacelli lays it off. Dos Santos with a shot. A curler just wide.
That would have been
Wow.
a stunning way to take the lead. An excellent shot from Dos Santos off of his pressure, getting the ball to Pacelli, who lays it back to him, trying to curl it to that top corner. Almost there. Just a little bit too far. It would have beat Antich.
Dos Santos just about dos feet from the perfect shot, 10 feet outside the box.
And would have made it dose goals for Bowdoin as well.
Yeah, Dose, nice moves on that takeaway earlier.
You boys done?
Yeah, no,
I think we're finished up
I'll
now.
call it.
Jet couldn't get the ball cleanly. Canfin trying to track back. It'll come all the way through to Mateo Bargana. Looks for the diagonal. Canfin making the run, but it's too close to Ainsworth.
I like the idea of looking for Camfin there, but a little bit too direct, I'd say. A bit too close to Ainsworth as well.
All sorts of space for Tyler Huck, who is just going to take it.
So words the Jumbos would never like to hear. Space for Tyler Huck.
And he makes a run, but Prince cut the ball out looking for him. Shot off the crossbar from Pacelli.
Oh, my goodness.
Another highlight-worthy play there as Pacelli off the half volley, running up, tries to take it, falling over. And the Jumbos are lucky to be still tied in this matchup.
This game has had it all. The only thing it does not have is a winner.
And Jumbo fans in the crowd, perhaps with no nails left to bite at this point. That shot from here looked like a winner.
It was definitely deserving of being a winner. Unfortunately, that crossbar had other ideas.
The Jumbos need to calm this game down and get themselves back in control of it. And that starts from the midfield. When they need their Octazanidas, they need Yanez and Gherkin to get this game into their hands as Gherkin shoves Surkov.
Oh, and then
Surkov
some
off the play comes
extracurriculars.
up and shoves Gherkin.
That should be a card. And I believe it will be. Referee had enough of Paul Surkov. And interested to see. Can't really imagine Surkov getting away without a card, but at the same time, don't really know what Gherkin did to deserve one. And it looks like he's going to get a warning. They both are. And I imagine Kyle Desatel, once he hears that, is not going to take it very kindly.
And Coach Brzezinski also having a word with Paul Surkov after that play. and as Kluski tosses the ball up around 5 feet from the point of contact, the ref says, "Don't test me."
Wasn't he the guy who asked for the ref
Yeah,
to move the ball backwards?
Like 15 minutes ago. The difference between where free kicks have been taken and where fouls have been committed today is about the difference between where I hit my golf ball and where I put my golf ball.
Great power, though, Riley. You've got a nice swing.
Yeah.
Saw your Instagram. Really quality contact.
50-50 ball in the midfield. My cone comes away with it as the sun suddenly comes flying out here in Medford.
Looked like might have been a hand on Feinberg there, but the contact was not enough to warrant a foul. James Flagg ready to come back in for the Jumbos.
Interesting to see who he comes in for.
It seemed like the Jumbos have shifted their formation a bit, with Denby moving into a third center back role, Jet out on the left wing back.
So back five now for the Bows.
Curious what message that sends about the strategy the Jumbos are trying to take in these final few minutes.
It is an interesting question. 50-50 won by Gherkin. He'll send it up. Can Jet get there? Nope, Mycone can.
Jet is a very talented player who can play multiple positions. We saw him as a fullback mainly last season, but this year he has been playing more of a winger role, but very capable, therefore, of playing that wing back position we might see him in right now.
Well, we would have, but he just came out because James Flagg's in.
Another very talented wing back.
Flagg coming in for Jet, as well as Penske in for Gherkin for the final 4:45.
And these groups subbing back in and out, back and forth. Perhaps Coach Desatel trying to keep everybody's legs fresh in this final second half.
Especially considering we may see more minutes of the game following the first 90.
That one bounces around. Canfin touches it down, lays it off. Yanez with a hit, sails it.
Give credit Canfin for controlling that ball as nicely and dropping it off to Yanez. Not a bad idea to drop a ball off to Daniel Yanez's right foot in open space.
Execution left a little bit to be desired, but still,
Yeah.
you gotta appreciate the attempt from Yanez, who's a player who who can hit those from outside. We know he has that in his arsenal. Just doesn't quite work out there.
There's a fundamental question I have at this point is either team playing to finish this game in regulation right now? Because from the Jumbo's formational changes to Alex Ainsworth's speed in taking that goal kick, neither team particularly gives the indication. But Shelley. And they're going to say that hit the hand of Owen Denby.
Organized, switched on. Mikey switched on.
We'll see if Bowdoin tries to take this one quick or if they slow it down and use this as potentially one of the last chances of regulation.
Tyler Huck will stand over this, and we've seen the Polar Bears strike from set pieces earlier this game and in the last matchup. Jumbo's definitely holding their breaths here.
The 87th minute it is.
It is the 87th. In swinger from Huck on Ontich, and tipped over.
My goodness.
As that almost ended up in the back of Nick Ontich's net.
That was not what we were expecting. I don't think it was what Ontich was expecting either. We thought he was going to play that in.
To be honest, I don't know if it was what Tyler Huck was expecting.
I mean, the placement, if he was going for it, was pretty excellent. And we talked earlier about putting faith in Nick Ontich's jump. Tyler Huck perhaps testing that theory, and the result yielded is a corner kick.
Ishibashi with the outswinger. Headed away by Feinberg. And a foul there on James Flagg. And another Bowdoin free kick oncoming.
Flagg's going to be careful, already sitting on a yellow. And another dangerous free kick, and you know who's standing over it? Tyler Huck, but also Felipe Related Duran, who...
Well, he was.
Nope, not anymore, never mind. But he did score a beautiful free kick for the Polar Bears.
From that spot.
Last quarterfinal they had here on Bello.
And...
Last time from around this exact spot, we saw Bowdoin crowd the middle and then sort of part the sea for Tyler Huck to try and thread the needle. We'll see what strategy they go with here.
Huck looks like he wants it. Hits it. Too much. And we dip under 2 to go as the clock will stop in a minute 59. Henry Perkins in, Mikey Brady out.
Some fresh legs to take on this final 2 minutes.
And if there was a way to track a second goal from around the crossbar to 5 feet above the net, I think this Bowdoin team would have put around 4 shots in perfect spots on it in the last 20 minutes.
To be fair, Yanez's might have gone in too.
5 feet.
Okay.
That one bouncing around in the Bowdoin end. Ishibashi sends it forward. Ontich says it's mine and calls off Taylor Feinberg.
Just a minute and 30.
That one sent up. Canfin up for it. Poor header there from Banks, taken down by Perkins. Late challenge. Ishibashi fouled. Bowdoin free kick. And a good job by Perkins to deny the quick restart.
You'd see him going to help Ichibashi up, and then saw Tyler Huck, how quickly he went to take that.
That hit off Perkins, and here come the Jumbos. Bargania, and a perfect slide tackle from Kluski. Bargania trying to take the throw.
Take the throw from slightly upwards on the pitch from where it went out after the nice tackle by Kluski.
Flicked on. Can Gunn get to it? Akhtar Zandidas still working with it. Almost juked himself out. Trying to get to the byline. Keeps it in play for Canfin as we go under a minute to go. Gonna be a foul on Akhtar Zandidas. And you wonder if that might just take us to the end of regulation. And it's gotten to the point where Scott Wachinski has asked the AR to make sure that everyone is taking throw-ins where they're supposed to be taken from, which feels like it should have been taken care of about 2 halves ago.
Yeah, a warranted contention from him to be sure.
Bargania with 5 seconds, switches one for Canfin, back post run for Gunn, and we will end regulation at 1 apiece.
And we go to extra time. One of many NESCAC games to go to extra time today. Actually, only one of the men's quarterfinals games did not go to extra time. So not that surprising, to be honest, if we're looking at the games with how strong these teams are. How we've seen how every team in this tournament deserves to be here, and it's very strong. No surprise to see a tie in the regular season, a tie in the first half, the first 90 minutes.
We're going to step aside. We'll be back in about 4 minutes with some bonus soccer, as long as it takes to crown a winner. Stay tuned. Welcome back here to Bello. Well, we talked to Max Clivio at the start, or at the end of Tuesday night's game, about how you have no games guaranteed after today. Well, now you have no seconds guaranteed. It is golden goal, which means you give up a goal, you're going home, and your NESCAC season is done. Boys, I mean, there's very little I can ask because we've seen almost everything we could on this field, but the question remains, what is it going to take for one of these teams to score?
I mean, I think we've seen what it takes because they've both had the chances. I mean, that Pacelli playing the crossbar challenge in the last 10 minutes there. Tufts, off that Mason Schultz throw, sort of created the chaos in the box that they needed to create to score, as we saw by their first goal. Both these teams, I think, have had the chances, know what they need to do to score. They just need to put one in the back of the net, and a lot of that, I think, comes with getting a little bit more space. A couple guys having good looks before having the light taken away from them at the last second by a defender. Both of these teams have very fast defenders on the backside, so we'll see if anyone can flip the script here. One thing I will say is the only score prediction that is still in play is my 2-1.
Yeah, that is looking significantly better than the rest of ours.
I think that's the only one that's really possible outside of a 1-1 to penalties. So with the golden goal rules, we are very likely we'll see a 2-1. So whether it will be your 2-1 Tufts prediction or a 2-1 Bowdoin, we will see in these next 20 minutes.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily convinced that either of these two teams plan on conceding.
I remember
Jumbo's still in this 5-back position. We see Owen Denby, Max Clivio, and Taylor Feinberg at center back. James Flagg still on the pitch as a wing back alongside Mateo Bargania. So Jumbo's clearly not wanting to let any chances the Polar Bears can have behind their 5 defenders on the pitch.
I like that strategy decision from Desatel. I think you can really afford to play that way defensively because you know you have the counter-attacking ability, the pace with guys like Canfin, Mikey Brady, Danny Yanez, and I also think you have the best goalie in the NESCAC. You have guys who have been in penalty shootouts before. If you got to PKs, I feel like you would have faith in your team to get the job done.
I also like the choice that he's done to keep the 3 midfielders and just move to 2 attackers. I think that's a better choice than to try to have 2 wingers. Get those wing backs in play. Get Bargania, who's quite attacking power. Get them in play and have 2 very talented forwards in Brady and Canfin be your attacking output while still having a midfield dominance.
Bargania rises.
Talked about the penalty, the potential for a shootout. As I mentioned, 2 years ago, Bowdoin lost in a penalty shootout in the quarterfinal against Conn College. That same year, though, Tufts also had their NESCAC hopes squashed in the quarterfinal with a penalty shootout to Williams.
Yeah,
one of these teams, if it were to go there, could right the ship today.
That Williams game, one of the most heartbreaking losses in Tufts program history. A game in which they led with 7 seconds left, conceded, and then lost on penalties.
Long throw opportunity here for Mateo Bargania.
Throw in to the near post. Feinberg up, flicks it on, and no one was there to follow it up.
That's where you wonder if a player like Perkins is on the pitch, whether he could be able to pounce on that.
Pacelli forced back.
And give Ainsworth the credit for a really excellent long throw out of his own box there. Pacelli, of course, forced the redouble. But there was a moment of light.
Jumbo's clearly not the only ones who can have those long throws. Goalkeeper for Bowdoin also has that in his arsenal.
Glusky gets it wide to Steinberg. Clivio with a nice step there, denying Rita Duran. Now Brady brings the press. Penske up, couldn't get it cleanly. Pacelli chests it down. He'll play Ishibashi. Against Denby. In between, Pacelli. Could have turned, instead lays it off. 1-2, Dos Santos. Through ball for Tyler Huck. And Owen Denby with a slide tackle. Steinberg sails that one into Wingen.
And crucial moment there from Owen Denby to intervene on the second top goal scorer in the NESCAC. Given space, given a shot. My money's on him scoring that. So Owen Denby, crucial play from the senior.
Yeah, and as you said, no moment too soon. He had a lot of space, and Denby, as I said, starting to become a theme in this game, getting there to knock it away at the final hour.
And that would have been the final hour of the Jumbo's NESCAC season. If that had gone in, would have ended the game and their hopes of a NESCAC title.
Nice touch there from Canfin. Switches it wide to James Flagg. Laid off for Acardanidas. Can Brady get to it? The answer is no. Under 7 to go in overtime number 1. Shots 14-13 in favor of the Polar Bears. Shots on goal 7-4 in favor of the Jumbos.
Ainsworth certainly has been tested throughout this game. He may be tested even further if this goes to a shootout.
Bargania working against Ishibashi. Towards the byline, cuts back. Now to the byline, hard and low, corner kick. And the Jumbos will send up the ball, boys, as they look to end it right here, right now.
Ishibashi very well used to those tactics as he's been pulling them himself throughout this game. Played 2 different times where he's faked a shot and played a great cross in, so he's prepared for Bargania's antics.
Yanez stepping out to take Tufts' 7th opportunity from the corner in this game. Him and Gherkin have been sending a lot of balls high and long, but so far nothing.
Outswinger. Clivio head! Off the crossbar, bouncing around, and Ainsworth keeps it out.
And the crossbar has now been brought into play on both sides of the field.
Wow.
No nails left to bite for either team now.
Klusky
thriller.
goes down, and Brady gonna get carded.
Energy on the field still calming down after that decisive moment where Ainsworth managed to get a hand to Clivio's header, hit it off the bar, bounces back up. Canthan there for it, ready to head it into the goal, but Ainsworth solidly claims the ball. Another excellent play from the Bowdoin keeper.
Alex Ainsworth may have had a tough year. He is having a phenomenal game today. Klusky plays it back to Marconi. Wide to Surkoff, loose touch. Bargania able to get there. It'll be a Bowdoin throw, but 20 yards further back.
I think the wishes of Coach Roshinsky have been listened to as the referee implored the Bowdoin player to go back to where the throw was taken. So hopefully we won't see that issue continuing through the extra time.
Ontic out of his box to deal with that. Akhtar's on us to get to it. Looking to get rid of it, and we'll send it up, looking for Brady. Klusky with a loose touch, and then takes out Brady. That's a Jumbo free kick. And Paul Surkoff's going to take a walk with the ball.
And an interesting direction to walk with it. Surely, though, the ref, as you said, being more realistic with it, will take it back to where it was. Ishibashi tries to make sure of it by throwing the ball himself.
Daniel Yanez to stand over the kick. We saw him get credit with the assist for the free kick he delivered in the first minutes of the second half, and he's got another dangerous opportunity here.
It's the same spot he delivered the free kick that led to the Jumbo's goal to beat Amherst a week and a half ago. That one towards the back post. Clivio up. Ainsworth collects. And down is Bargania in some pain. And the Polar Bears don't seem content on stopping play. Clivio might just take the foul. He will. It'll be a yellow. And he does not particularly care. Bargania is down.
Looks like Bargania, by the way he's gone down, looks like he's been stepped on pretty strongly. But
Referee seems completely uninterested in the fact that Mateo Bargania is down. Can't find Bargania, being told by the AR that there's a guy down, but finally is able to find him.
and a virtually mirrored field as now Tyler Huck will take a free kick from a similar spot that Daniel Yanez to take a free kick for the Jumbos.
Poorly hit ball from Huck. Canfin heads it away. Bargania flicks it on for Brady. Brady, around one. Gets tackled back, and Klusky's going to get carded, and that might be red. We're going to have a brawl here in Medford after Paul Klusky decides he's denying Mikey Brady the end zone.
I think it's a yellow for the hold before that, but the tackle after the play, that's
Yellow?
just a yellow.
Is there a second?
Nope, doesn't look like it. Klusky lucky to get away here with just a yellow. That was a brutal play there.
I mean, it's not surprising. We did see Max Clivio get away with a
Yeah.
very similar tackle, not just earlier when he got a yellow, but also Tuesday night when he got away without a card. Can't really understand what Scott Roshinsky's asking about, because that is the luckiest yellow he will ever see one of his defenders get.
Kluski was the player who Mikey Brady fouled to get his own yellow, so I wonder if there is some bad blood between the two of them, which could have led to the Kluski tackle at the end.
Very possible. It's very interesting. We went 90 minutes, 3 yellow cards, 6.5 minutes, 3 more.
Temper certainly rising.
Giannis standing over it. In swinger. Pops free. We'll see if Bargania lets it run. He will. It'll be a jumbo throw. And a triple substitution. Bargania out, Schultz in.
One long thrower for another.
It'll be Perkins in for Brady and Gherkin in for Yanez. So 3 like-for-like substitutions from Desatel. And they're going to have to go fix the clock, I believe. As a discussion being had between the captains and the referee. And I think they're going to ask Paul Kluski to leave the pitch for some reason. Looks like he has blood on his head, so they're going to have to tend to that while we stop play. He's being told he has to step off. Scott Roshinsky says he's going to stay on. We'll see what the Jumbos are going to do, because this would be an 11v10 opportunity if they can take advantage.
We saw a very similar thing happen in the women's game earlier today as Lena Segru had to step off the pitch with a little bit of blood. Same type rule apply where they do have to leave the pitch. Well,
and now Bowdoin's going to make a substitution. Luke Peltz in for Kluski. And now that everyone's back to 11 aside, we can resume play with Mason Schultz to take the throw. Perkins shows and goes in towards Clivio, bouncing around in the box. Poor header. Second one away. But Canfin able to deal with it, and around Tyler Huck. Canfin still going. Into Akhtar Zandidas. Wide for Schultz. Stands it up. Chested down by Surkoff. Can he get to this one? Yes, he can. Schultz trying to track back defensively, forces Surkoff to slam on the brakes. Now wide. Duran. Against Akhtar Zandidas with a shot that's blocked. And Clivio will send it forward for Canfin to go chase. And it'll be a Bowdoin throw with just over 2 to go. And a like-for-like substitution. Kluski right back in. Luke Peltz in for 30 seconds. Right back in is Kluski. And some tension starting to heat up between the 2 coaching staffs as this game has quickly turned into an SNL skit. Dos Santos. Clivio just goes over his back not once but twice. Huck. Maradona pass. Ball pops free. Gherkin gets rid of it. It'll be a Bowdoin throw with 1.5 minutes to go in the first overtime. Gherkin with a great interception there to win the throw. And then James Flagg tried to take it and found that ball disappeared as Jack Spank threw it away. Touchdown beautifully from Canfin to Perkins. Taken off him. Surkoff with a long ball right at Ontich. And he'll control, collapse on the ball, and restart play with 1 minute to go in the first overtime. Ontich with a long ball. Headed down to Schultz now. Ishibashi with a slide. It's going to be a Bowdoin throw. Desatel in disbelief. Thrown into Banks. Back to Surkoff. No one going to step. And he'll hit it long. Clivio with a great header right back to Nick Ontich, who might just take his sweet time. Desitel telling him to go. I don't think Ontich is listening. Now he'll send it forward with 12 to go in the quarter. That'll drift out of play, and we will go to a second overtime on Bello. We'll step aside when we come back. The finale. Stay tuned. For the final time, we welcome you back to Bello Field. We will not leave you until there is a winner. And there will either be a winner in the next 10 minutes or we will go to PKs to decide it. Both these teams have been in these positions before. This Jumbo's team was in overtime last in that matchup you mentioned, David, against the Williams College Eafs in the NESCAC quarterfinal 2 years ago, as were the Bowdoin Polar Bears last in overtime. Both those teams found themselves with their seasons cut short that day. The question is, will they be able to do anything about it before they get to Pens today?
And I got to say, I'm surprised we didn't see a winner in that first period. We saw both sides have very good chances at taking the game. We saw, for the Jumbos, Ainsworth's hand up, which hits off the crossbar and then catches it after that. And we saw several good chances for the Polar Bears as well. So won't be surprised if we see this game end in regulation. I'm certainly hoping so.
Are you cold, Jake?
I am cold, but also I personally am not a huge fan of the penalty kick strategy. I think that having a goal is a much more fair way, not fair per se, but much more satisfying way to end the game than a penalty kick shootout.
That I cannot disagree with. Though I will say, for our viewers at home, there is nothing more enthralling than a penalty kick shootout.
Unless you're rooting for a team in this shootout, then it's nail gripping and.
Well, that's a good thing, Jake, that we're objective.
I know. I'm saying for the viewers at home, though, who have a supporting team, that it's definitely a rough experience to go through.
I'll tell you what, this 2-minute timeout between the two halves, these referees demanded, has sure gone a lot longer than 2 minutes. But now it seems as if both teams are done with their pep talks and are ready to resume play. Jumbo's lineup going to be the two up front, Perkins and Canfin. Yanez with Akardandidas and Penske in the midfield. Flag and Baragana, your wingbacks, and the three at the back have not changed. Bowdoin not making any substitutions the entirety of the first overtime, and that has not changed to start the second. Clivio going to send it long. Pacelli lays it off. Huck. Akhtar Zandidas out to press Steinberg. Almost got to it. Dummy comes through to Penske. Turn from Clivio. Lays it off. Through ball looking for a runner. Out as far as Duran, who flicks it over the head of James Flagg. Flag on a yellow. Clivio takes it off Dos Santos.
Clivio also on a yellow. Got to be careful.
Denby looks to switch the field. Long. Steinberg with a nice header away. Huck will take it, look to go and counter. Duran, 1-2 with Huck. And a third. Make it 4 before he switches the ball, or tried to, before Owen Denby said, no, I don't think so. Canfin. Ref didn't blow the whistle, now he does. And I can finally stop saying names in the first minute of overtime.
Owen Denby has had a quietly very strong game for the Jumbos. Intervention there. He had a crucial intervention earlier in this overtime period. And he has been very solid. Now moving into a right center back role, generally a fullback, playing left back most of this game.
Bargania, around 1. Surkov got a touch in, then almost put it away. And Ishibashi will get it wide to him. He's going to run down that left sideline. Plays Dos Santos. Through ball, cut out by Penske.
And it's good that he did, because Dos Santos had legs and he had space and he was still onside. Duran with an opportunity to slide him a perfect ball and maybe create a chance.
Both teams look completely and utterly gassed offensively. Clivio with a long ball looking for Canfin. He's going to get to it. Whipped it back across. No one there on the top of the box.
It's where you're looking for your box-crashing midfielder there, your Yanez or your Octazani-Das to run in there. Perkins was in position at the far post, but I think just the fatigue is really setting in for these players.
Surkov now. He's going to send one long, looking for Duran. Clivio out to deal with him. Sends it high into the sky. Huck with a poor touch will give the Jumbos a throw. Quickly taken. Don't know if Canfin was ready for that, but we'll do it again. Good throw there from James Flagg. Bicycle clear from Steinberg, but it works. Ishibashi will open up and lay it back for Kluski. Both coaches telling their teams to consolidate defensively. Crowd almost deathly silent right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't feel this at home, but it is cold right now on Bello, and both of these teams have played around almost 110 minutes of soccer.
And these fans have sat in the stands for 110 minutes of soccer in the cold, so imagine that could be dulling some of the excitement or noise that we may have had earlier.
Ainsworth. That one's going to hang up. Flag gets ahead to it. Chested down by Feinberg. He'll send it wide. Was not on the same page as Xavier Canfin.
And Canfin and Steinberg here on this right side have had a tough matchup through the last few minutes. Steinberg doing well to play it out. He had that bicycle clearance you mentioned, playing physical along the touchline, making some nice headers. But Canfin, for his part, has looked very nimble on the ball all night, and there's been no change here.
I think the best indicator of the temperature is that the ref just had to stop play because Carlton Steinberg's hands were so frozen that he needed a minute to tie his shoes. Down goes Gunn. Ref says play on. Another foul not called. Both sets of fans screaming. Ref not interested in any of it. Bargania gonna go for a run. Bargania gets shoved down. Free kick.
It's a great chance here for the Jumbos. Ball thrown away by, it looks like that was Surkov there, and that will be his yellow that he probably had coming earlier in the game, but will now get in the book.
And Bargania signaling for to the tough side of the crowd for some noise.
Yanez standing over it. Can this be the moment? Incidentally, the last game that went to double overtime here was Senior Day against Amherst in 2021 with a walk-off goal from a free kick in about this spot. Yanez in swinger, headed away. Penske heads it back. Gonna get to it again. Plays it to Akhtar Zandidas. Back for Yanez. Now Perkins. And it'll be a throw.
Bocelli with an excellent intervention there to get in the way, and Bargania will now come up to take this throw-in. Another set-piece opportunity for the Jumbos.
A nice header there from Macchione. I don't think he expected it, but it came in low enough that he probably could have controlled it with the leg. That being said, obviously expecting a little bit more height on De Leon's set-piece kick, and chose to go down with the head.
Bargania to take the throw. Into the near post. Flicked around, bouncing, and a foul called. Ainsworth down cold. He's going to get up, and a foul call that just kept the Polar Bears season alive.
A collision there between the goalkeeper and the Jumbo's player will end up resulting in a foul. Can't blame the call on that one.
Jumbo's bench incredulous at where Alex Ainsworth is trying to kick this ball. Bargania will take that one down. Little stop and go around Ishibashi. Down the line looking for Perkins against Kluski. Kluski takes some contact, back for Ishibashi. Surkov sends it long and out of play.
And with that much left up to interpretation over where that crossed the out of bounds line, it'll be interesting to see where this one gets thrown from.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a debate.
Bargania all the way up, very high.
We'll see how far the referee makes him go back. He's going to make him walk him back every single inch.
And Bargania will be walking every single inch to take some time off the clock here.
Adam Prince set to check in at the next whistle.
The goal scorer from earlier, can he get another one to his tally today? And what a significant one that would be.
Brady will also check in. Back to Ontic. Under some pressure from Dos Santos. And he gets it up.
Now both goal scorers set to check in at this point.
Through ball, cut out by Denby. Akhtar Zandidas flicks it. Canfin, miscommunicated, but takes it back. All sorts of contact in the midfield, and Steinberg just gets rid of it up the sideline for a Jumbo throw.
Banks continues his excellent game, managing to make it through both Canfin and Akhtar Zandidas on him and continuing possession for the Polar Bears.
Clock continues to run. It'll dip under 3 minutes before we resume play.
Another nice long throw in there.
That one mistouched by Penske. Clivio sends it high to the sky, and Brady will go chase. Ainsworth collects. Desatel gives the instructions. One chance. All you need is one chance.
And one chance would end the game if they can put it away.
Hawk with a great header. Duran. Through ball over the top, looking for Bocelli. Cuts inside on Clivio, who concedes the corner.
Excellent work throw from Clivio to not concede anything more than a corner there, as the man got around him. Could have been a tackle, but will not give it.
And as they're calling one last chance for tons of both seniors on these teams and for grad students such as Mikey Brady, Max Clivio, Colton Steinberg on the other end, this is the last chance to prove themselves in NESCAC play. And with 2 minutes to remain, it is a now or never.
Duran to take the corner. Outswinger way overhit. Headed back across. Turning around and sent out by Denby, who has been everywhere in this period. Canfin will go chase as that ball put Ainsworth under some pressure.
Huck there trying on the ground to get a good shot off, but unable to get it through a sea of Jumbo bodies.
Denby did enough to win the throw, and more importantly, prevent Ishibashi's run. Crowd starting to make some noise as they can sense this is it. Denby's ball will be almost to Canfin. Instead, it'll pop free to James Flagg. Down the line for Akhtar Zandidas. He'll lay it off for Penske as we go under a minute on Bello. Switches it wide for Bargania. Late challenge. Bargania got hit high. Bowdoin going the other way. Bargania still down in pain. Ishibashi, Duran. Bocelli looks to switch the field. Penske heads it down. And now Feinberg will send it up. Bargania now back to his feet. A poor header. Brady almost found Bargania, gets sent out of play. 25 to go. Bargania with a long throw, looking for Canfin. He's not going to get there. That'll go out of play. And we, here on Bellow Field, are going to go to a penalty shootout. I mean, you said you thought it wasn't the accurate determinant of a winner, Jake, but I feel like we could be playing 20 overtimes. The way these two teams are playing, we might still not get a winner, and so it is time to put your money where your mouth is from 12 yards.
It will be a hotly contested one. This game has really could have gone either way, honestly. Like, both teams have had good chances, but I wouldn't say that anything less than something that goes as down to the line as penalty kicks is the right situation here, because I don't think either team has deserved to be on top of the other team at this point.
Well, in terms of how it might affect any sort of national standings, both teams will get credit for a draw in this game, which means the national implications for whichever team loses this game are minimal at worst.
Except it would mean for both teams that they are out of the NESCAC playoffs and lose the chance to prove themselves
for
in future
the NESCAC,
matches.
it would absolutely have indications, and in the future it would. But in terms of what it would do to their NPI rating, the answer is very little. And so it is going to come down to at least 6 and maybe up to, who knows, penalty kicks. We're going to step aside one last time, but we got our cameras lined up to give you the best possible shot of penalties live from Bella. Welcome back to the frozen tundra here in Medford. It is penalty shootout time. Jumbos have their 10 penalty takers lined up on the center line. Still waiting to see who's coming out for the Polar Bears. A unique thing about the collegiate penalty kick game is that you do not have to declare your order. As long as they are a member of your 10, they can shoot the first 10 penalties in any order.
It looks like for the Jumbos, Henry Perkins will be the first penalty taker. One interesting thing of note, though, is the Polar Bears have had one penalty kick all season. And you know who took it? Ronaldo Cabral. He missed the penalty, and he has not played all game today. We think he is out, so he will not be lining up as a penalty kicker. But one interesting note is one of their backup goalkeepers, that is John Perez, a first year, is out there. So that will be interesting to see. The Jumbos do have one first year as one of their takers as well, Will Nicholas, who has gotten plenty of play time.
Some Jumbos fans behind the goal to try and throw off the Bowdoin shooters.
And much of the result here will be left up to the two juniors, Nikola Antic and Ainsworth.
Desitel asking about the students. Henry Perkins to take the first kick. Delivers.
Whoa. And Ainsworth judges it perfectly, jumping for the corner, but it's not enough. And the call from the Middlebury student section was, don't miss. Perkins says, okay, I won't.
Put it on target
Perfectly
there.
placed.
Tyler Huck will step up, one of the star players of this team. No surprise here, 8 goals in the season. He's very familiar with putting the ball in the net.
Can Antic be the hero? Did he get a touch? He did, but he couldn't keep it out.
And it's the same thing, a perfect dive from Antic, able to get to it in that bottom left corner, but not able to get enough contact to keep it out.
Danny Yanez will step up for the Jumbos. 1 and 2 on penalties this season. He is the designated penalty taker for the Jumbos. No surprise to see him up here. Very used to the penalty spot.
Fan section moved outside the lines of the net to prevent them from theoretically influencing shooters, though I can't imagine their noise is going to be ignored by the Bowdoin penalty takers. Yanez against Ainsworth. Long pause.
Taking his time.
Delivers, top bins.
And Ainsworth had a chance at the first one. No chance at that one. Yanez with an absolute thunderbolt to the top corner.
It'll be Matteo Pacelli next for the Polar Bears, looking to even things up at 2.
Pacelli, the goal scorer in the matchup earlier this week. He pounced off of a Antic bobble on a shot. Can he take Antic down here?
And if this shot has anything like the power of his crossbar screamer earlier, Antic will have work to do.
He guesses wrong. We're even at 2.
Pacelli excellently plays Antic to the right while still setting it down the middle. Smart penalty there from Pacelli.
Max Clivio up next. Clivio, one of the few Jumbos, actually the only Jumbo on the roster who has taken a penalty in a penalty shootout on Bellow Field. That was 3 years ago in the NCAA second round. He scored that penalty, part of the 13-round shootout win against Stevens. The lefty lights the scoreboard up.
Excellent penalty there from Max Clivio. Calm, cool, collected. All you expect from your graduate student captain.
Clivio at the slow lineup makes Ainsworth make his move first, and there's nothing left to do but drop it into the center.
Rueda Duran.
The junior from Beaverton, Oregon, who has been very strong throughout the year, especially last year, though.
Antic got fingers to it, but Rueda Duran beat him.
And in this third round, both 2023 All-NESCAC first teamers find the back of the net. We are still knotted.
Xavier Campin next up.
The sophomore will be stepping up. What can he do? He's got a lot of opportunities here.
has never taken a collegiate penalty before. Now's as good a time as ever.
Has gotten the ball in the net plenty of times, though, this season for the Jumbos, one of the leading scorers of this Tufts team.
Denied by Ainsworth.
And at a critical moment. And now it's not just up to the Tufts keepers. Ontic has to have this be his moment.
Steinberg coming up, the grad student. This is the moment for Ontic. Clivia coming out to comfort Canfin. Sorry, that was Feinberg.
Can Ontic deliver? The
Yes,
answer
he
is
can!
yes!
One goal, one goal, one goal, one goal, one goal, one goal. Save, save. The sheet's identical, and we will keep shooting.
Sudden death penalties the rest of the way. And it's the other captain, Taylor Feinberg, up to kick for the Bows.
Ontic stepping up massively for the Jumbos when they needed him. Feinberg forced to run all the way across the pitch to receive the ball.
That's gonna rub some people the wrong way.
And Ainsworth, after making also an incredible save in this last play, perhaps surprised that he might have to do it again.
Taylor Feinberg was a penalty taker for the Jumbos at points of last season, scored a penalty against UMaine Farmington here a year ago.
No surprise to see him stepping up to this spot.
Denied by Ainsworth, and Bowdoin have a chance to win it.
He had to do it again, and he did. Alex Ainsworth has had an incredible 90 minutes, an incredible next 20 minutes, and now an incredible penalty shootout here on Bello. Can he be the hero?
The pressure's on Kato Ishibashi here for the Polar Bears, facing off against Nick Ontic.
Scores
He
it,
puts it away.
and Bowdoin's going on to the semis.
And it is an absolute scene here on Bello Field. The home side silent. Bowdoin finding the corner. When it mattered most, they were there. The Polar Bears will find the next round of the NESCAC tournament.
Eerily reminiscent of what happened a few months ago here on Bello as the #1 seeded men's lacrosse team fell to Hamilton. The men's lacrosse team did go on to win the national championship, so maybe the Jumbos can do the same, but their NESCAC run is over.
Yeah, it's honestly just shock at this moment. You knew it was going to take something special to win this game. What it took was 2 world-class saves from Alex Ainsworth in the penalty shootout, and we talked about it right from the open. This Bowdoin team was not your typical 8 seed. They proved that today, coming to Bello, holding the Jumbos to a draw, and getting the win on PKs.
And for the Bowdoin side, as you said, there is no question who your hero is. We mentioned his struggles this season. Today, he was able to put that all behind him. 6 saves in regulation time and 2 at the last moment in shootouts.
Well, I can
It's
tell
Alex
you
Ainsworth.
something for certain. There are now at least 7 NESCAC teams that have punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament, because Bowdoin will join the 6 who are already in the top 20 with this sort of win as an NCAA AQ spot team, which means, who knows, we could very well see this same matchup 2 weeks from now. While we leave you to think about that, I'd like to thank the other members of my crew across the field, doing a great job as always. Carson Lyle, up top on the cam, Jason Strait, behind the scenes, doing everything perfectly while freezing, Sophia Kahn. For Jake Flossie and David Latham, I've been Riley Daniel. You've been watching JumboCast, and as always, stay home safely.
I don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical, cold.